Everybody, it's Monday, TGIM. If you haven't had the opportunity yet, you can go to our Facebook page, enter to win a pass to go throw some axes at Axe Masters, and definitely let us know if you've been there before. Let us know if you've had a fun time. Kurt, you went not too long ago.
Yeah, it was a wonderful time. We had a great time throwing some axes. It's a good way if you're stressed and have to deal with someone like, let's say Gardy.
Like me.
It gives you a release to get everything out.
Did you have a picture of me in the middle of the target?
They printed it for me,
so
goodness. I had to use it that way.
Are you serious?
I had to use it that way.
Are you telling me that the people at Axe Masters were they were wanting you to axe me?
Maybe. Quite possibly.
Well, they're great. We appreciate them. They're partners here at KHEA Radio. If you haven't been before, they're off of Hobbs Road, right in League City, off of 518 on the west side of I-45. There's a really cool strip over there with some awesome businesses, and Axe Masters is one of those. We had them in studio last week. They said, hey, here's some passes, so we wanted to pass those on to you. Dude, we have some awesome giveaways that are coming up, starting with Axe Masters. We always wonder, what are we going to do next? But, God provides. There's some really cool businesses that are like, here, would you like to bless people? Absolutely. So if you have a giveaway, maybe reach out to us and we'll see if we'll be able to make it happen.
One of the big ones that's coming up is Chick-fil-A, and I'm so excited about Chick-fil-A being a giveaway. It's an entire year of Chick-fil-A.
Did you see my eyes light up? Did you see my eyes light up whenever you said Chick-fil-A? Here, we got 40 seconds, and then we're going to go on the FM as well. But my eyes, literally, I felt like stars hit them. But we have an awesome day today. Again, we got that Axe Masters giveaway. If you haven't had the opportunity to check it out, make sure you do that. Feel free to share this video out. That'd be a huge favor to us. Let's spread some positivity, not just in Galveston County, but all over the world. Chime in and let us know where you're watching from. I just see my friend Marseille, who lives in Los Angeles, from the big city of La Marque, doing some cool things out in California. Good morning to you, Marseille. We are about to go on the FM. It's KHEA Radio. Here we go. We got about 6 seconds. We're about to rock this thing. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. This is Kickstart. I'm Gardy.
And I'm Curt.
It is 8:45 in the morning. Beautiful Monday morning right here in Galveston County, La Marque, Texas. It's going to be a good week, Curt. I'm feeling it. You're going on vacation this week. Are you excited?
I'm ready for Florida. I can't wait. I'm gonna come back all tan, maybe some highlights in my hair. How do people in Florida even behave? I've never been to Florida, so
I've never been to Florida either. But don't you watch the news? That's where all the, let's just say, interesting stuff happens. Like a man on a golf cart has a collision with an alligator.
Isn't that where the zombies were or something?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I'm not coming back,
dude. You may not. I feel like you'll fit in perfectly over there. Actually. You'll be able to dress like Hawaiian Curt. Sometimes you'll come into work and just got the Hawaiian shirt on with the pink shorts and with the visor, and you're like, what? This is just how I dress. And I'm like, dude, you look like you're ready for a vacation in Florida. I think you should wear that and you'd fit in perfectly.
Coming back with the bleach highlights, the shorts, the tan. There's gonna be a completely new Curt when we're done with this. So TGIM, it's a short week. I'm excited.
Dude, it's gonna be a fun time. I'm excited for you to go. I'm excited for you to have a fun time whenever you're over there. Is what I meant. It came out wrong. That's what I meant. I'm excited for you to have the time away. That's what I'm talking about.
Are people going to miss me?
Yeah, of course.
Sure.
Eldridge is over there shaking his head. Yeah, we're going to miss you, Curt. What are we going to do without you? How are we ever going to survive? I don't know how we will ever live without you here every morning showing up about 40 minutes late and just kind of dragging through and bringing our spirits down.
The sarcasm. It's just bleeding through the microphone into my ears. Look, it's coming out of my headphones.
No, we're going to miss you. We are going to miss you. The end. That's the period. You're waiting for me to say something else.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll miss you, Curt. We'll miss you. And I know you're going to have a good time. Florida's ready for you. I'm not sure if you're ready. Have you packed yet?
I'm scared. By the way, there's some I saw the news yesterday. I think I was following Texas Chronicles History, Mystery, and Adventure.
Storms.
They post some really cool stuff, but there's some storms that might be coming. I'm a little freaking out that I'm going to go to Florida just to get stuck in another Hurricane Harvey or something, and it's just going to be really?
In Florida?
Oh, man.
That would be no bueno.
No, it would ruin the entire vacation. It's like, hey, let's go have the first vacation that I've had in 3 years.
Oh my gosh, here we go.
And then for me to be like, oh, it's not really a vacation in the hotel room, like fun.
I had that happen not too long ago in San Antonio. Went to San Antonio, and it like was freezing temperatures. The roads were iced over. Couldn't do anything. Everyone's like, "Oh, did you have a good time?" I was like, "No, I didn't." It was nice, I guess. Not even the drive. It's just far. But like, I got to stop at Buc-ee's. That was maybe the highlight of the trip. Yeah, I just like stuck in the hotel because it's like the roads are frozen over. Can't go nowhere.
I don't know how people take vacations, and maybe this is my mentality associated with this.
Yeah,
but I feel like it's like I was here until midnight last night, like working on stuff, trying to get ahead so that I can take a vacation.
Yeah,
it's like I got this to do, I got this to do, I got this to do, and then I can enjoy it. But then it's like you're gonna come back from that vacation and you're like, well, I missed all of those. So
gotta stack up the work.
Yeah, the desk just keeps sticking up.
Hey, KHEA radio does not stop, Kurt.
Right? I know.
Most businesses are like that. Just because somebody takes off, hey, the wheels got to keep turning, so you got to plan ahead. Like, hey, I'm gonna work ahead, and then whenever I get back, I'm gonna have to catch up. Whenever I was a technician and I was, working, I was always concerned because I had an area. Okay, this is my area, so the work keeps coming in, and they'll be like, oh, since you're off, somebody else has to do your work for the week.
But they're not going to do it the same way that you could.
They're not going to be it because they still have to do their work for the week.
Right.
And so whose work do you think they're going to try and take care of more?
I think they should hire people for those days that you're not there. You know what I mean? Like have temp work.
But it depends on what the job is. Like for you, we've made some phone calls, and as far as like co-hosting the show.
Co-hosting the show is covered, but are they going to do the rest of the work? Like should I save a Pastor Hallam TV show so that they can do one of those while I'm gone?
Sure. Would you be concerned if somebody came back and they're like, well, I did everything in like half the time with, zero complaining, unlike who? Would you be like, oh, man, I shouldn't have left?
I'd be like, no.
My job.
No, I'd be like, let them do it. Let them do it. I mean, I'll sit back and champion it. Isn't that the whole goal when you're in a job?
But it's somebody you haven't trained before. Like it's like Chevy comes in who's planning to co-host, and then he's like, oh yeah, I'll knock out Pastor Allen's show, and then he does everything else, and everyone's like, this is the best it's ever been, the best show. We have the best numbers on Kickstart. We have the best Aberdeen's blown away by the work.
If they want to, fine, but I can tell you what, based on my experiences, this is not an easy job. So it's not one of those that you could just show up and be like, hey, let me temporarily do this position,
I guess we'll find out. And here's some good feedback. This is from Bruce. He said,
wow.
You work?
Wow.
Yeah. A little bit.
Bit.
I'll vouch for Kurt. Yeah, he works. He works. He was working last night, getting caught up. We have a Shine on Lamarck that is planning to drop later today. If you haven't checked out that segment, you need to be glued to KHEA Radio's Facebook page. We drop one every other Monday showcasing the amazing places in Lamarck. There's so many. We could run Shine on Lamarck from like the rest of our lives and still have not even chipped the surface because new places pop up all the time.
Oh, yeah, I've been thinking about that. What happens when we run out of businesses in Lamarck? Like it's like 2022 or something like that, and we're like, we've done how many? It's 20 a year, so that would be 60 businesses.
We start over, and then we hit up Benito's again, and it's like Benito's
do the same order.
Yeah, they've been in business for 110 years. Hey, did you see Enrique got married?
I did see that. Congratulations to him.
Shout out to Benito's and Lamarck. Yeah.
I just saw a little video.
I was like, how do you know how beautiful it was? I saw some pictures. I was like, dang, Kurt, were you there?
I was.
Man.
You didn't get the invite?
No. I was at Benito's. I was at Benito's eating the enchilada buffet. Good morning, everybody. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. If you're watching on Facebook, how you doing? Feel free to let us know. Share this video out. Good morning, Robin. Shout out to Axe Masters. We just dropped a video this morning showcasing some giveaways that we're doing with Axe Masters in League City.
Yeah, we saw that board over there. We got to find a place to hang that up. Did he take the axe out of it, or is the axe still in it? Because I can't see it.
Can you go look? I think it's in it.
Like,
I didn't
we got to keep the
axe?
It's kind of dangerous for us to have an axe in this studio.
Okay.
We need to set a rule.
I feel like it's dangerous for you to have an axe.
We need to set an axe
The axe
rule.
is here? Elder said the axe is here.
Don't. Careful with that thing. Okay, rule is you can't enter the bay when somebody is already throwing the axe at the dartboard or at the axe board or whatever it's called. You can't do it. Can't do it.
Hey, we have an awesome show today. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have Captain Sharky. Captain Sharky, he's going to be on air. We're going to be talking about the monster catch. We're going to be talking about monster fishing. We're going to be talking about one of the largest charters in Galveston, Texas. We're going to be talking about everything that's going on. I think he just sent me a text message. I'm going to check up on him. He's going to be here at 9 o'clock, and we're going to get into this.
I'm super excited about Monster Catch. If you haven't caught the first episode of Monster Catch, then you need to go back and check out on our Facebook page. It had 100,000 plus views on that video. It's shared by us. It's shared by our content partner, I-45 Now. The next episode number 2, I think are they going gigging for flounder?
Man.
They're going night fishing. I know they're going night fishing. So if they're out there, they're able to gig, and that's going to be featured in tonight's episode.
Yeah, so be on the lookout for that. I'm sending Eldridge, our awesome intern. He's actually going to go look for Captain Michael, and bring him in. So this is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Hey, good morning. Colleen Merritt with City of Lamarck. Diego, what's up, sir? We still need to meet up, and Curt owes you indefinitely for saving him from potential jail time.
No, not jail time. You can't go to jail for having an unregistered vehicle. Man, you know what? Here's my bone to pick. Here's my bone to pick about this. Diego, I thank you for saving the warning. But here's the issue that I have. When I registered, they sent me a February one. So all those months that I didn't have an outdated, I figured they'd be like, oh, he's just registering, it would count, so I could save like a couple bucks. Nope. I didn't lose any time and just put a 0220 on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's not like, in the past, like if you didn't renew your license on time, they're not going to backdate it, but they backdate the registration.
So it expired in February, but you didn't put it on till like the end of June, July.
I didn't.
So you were hoping that it would be like 7/20,
not 0220. So it's like, man, how does that work?
They still get you.
Oh.
They found out how you were trying to rig the system there.
I tried. It didn't work. I tried to find avenues to change things all the time, but I appreciate all of our police officers. I appreciate everybody.
Yeah, shout out to Diego as well. He's awesome. He does a lot of stuff with the local MMA scene and some video stuff. So we need to meet up, see how we can bring him on air whenever he's not busy doing everything that he does. It's 8:55. We have about 5 minutes, and we have Captain Michael with the Monster Catch, with Monster Fishing. He has a lot of sponsors and partners. I know he does some stuff with Academy, and last Monday was the debut of his brand new program that we were blown away by. There's a lot that goes on whenever it comes to producing great content, and his show was one of the best things that we've seen coming out of our area, which was alarming, and it was a wake-up call that we need to step our game up and make sure that we are producing content that's just as good as the Monster Catch. So stay tuned. If you're a fan of fishing, if you're a fan of reality-style TV and local business, this is going to be a segment you don't want to miss. Again, this is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Kickstart's going to be on till 11 o'clock, and then after that, we're actually going to go to a luncheon with the Chamber of Commerce. It's going to be our first time. I'm going to try and sneak my way onto the stage. I'm going to try and stand up on the table, grab a microphone, and I have an amazing speech prepared that I'm going to write in the car on the way over there.
The cool part about this event is there's going to be a bunch of like Congress people there, like people who are high up. And
should I bring a gavel?
What if we had signs?
Or like a wig? Like how the judges used to wear like those white wigs? I feel like people need to bring that back. You know what I'm talking about? You think of a judge and they had the white wig with the curls.
So like old-time Britain?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, like when is that style? These styles repeat themselves right now. It's like there's some 90s trends going on. It's 2019. We need that like
1765.
Yeah.
Make America great again, right?
Sure, we weren't even America in 1765. We just got through the 4th of July, Independence Day. But yeah, that Britain feel. Like, when are we going to get back to that? I don't know. This is KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back on the FM, we're going to have Captain Michael Sharky Marquez in studio, and then we're going to be also talking to Toastmasters later, which I'm intrigued to learn more about.
I was gonna bring my trophies. Ooh. I was gonna walk in with my trophies. I totally forgot about that.
Like your senior photos.
My senior photos.
Do you have that on your phone?
I don't think I do have it on my phone. Maybe I'll hunt down it. But I was gonna bring in my semifinalist trophy and my second national runner-up trophy that I have.
I'm surprised you don't just carry those around. You're like, oh, I forgot. Wait, they're in my car.
It's like in the belt, like the wrestling belt almost.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
We're going to take a quick break. We're going to keep it going on Facebook. If you're tuning in, feel free to share this video out. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. We got a Benito spot going. Hey, what's up, folks? Are y'all excited about this week?
I'm excited for our next guest.
I am too.
Monster Catch. I want to say monster. But it's not monster. It's monster.
Well, did you watch? Okay, so in the video, he kind of explained where that came from. He's like, came from my trademark. Whenever they're catching a fish, he'd be like, "It's a monster, baby! It's a monster." We're gonna have to get him to say it. I feel like we're butchering it.
It was perfect. I thought. All right, I'm gonna go get him.
But hey, catchphrases are important. I feel like if Curt had a catchphrase, it would be like,
"Ooh, I like the uptime.
How about eat? What's up?
Chillin', man.
How's it going?
It's going. How are you?
Good. Michael, right?
Yes. Where you want me, right here?
Yeah, you can sit right there, and then if you you can adjust this mic, and then you're gonna want to talk, pretty close to it like this, but pull it all the way or scoot up, and then get it to you. There you go.
These headphones
Yeah,
right
you can
here?
put them on too if you want.
Cool, man.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Pretty pumped. I'm excited that you're here.
Thanks, man.
I mean, so I saw Galveston Island tour. Oh wait, Curt has something.
There's some breaking news. I can't go on without saying this. Is it National Taco Day?
It may be. I don't know.
Kim, you can't just put information like that and distract me in the middle of the show like this. You can't do that to me.
We weren't prepared.
Why is it not on a Tuesday?
It should be Taco Tuesday.
Right,
Every Tuesday is National Taco Day.
Even if it's like a set date, like it's like July 8th is National Taco Day. Like, hey, this year it's going to be on July 9th because it's a Tuesday. Right? Like...
Hey, go eat some tacos today.
I couldn't go any further without saying
that's
this.
lunch for sure.
No, it's understandable, dude. I feel you.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry.
So we saw Galveston Island Tourism shared out a sizzle reel. They shared out like a preview for something called the Monster Catch, and it looked amazing.
Thank you.
And so I sent it to Curt. I messaged it to him. It's what's her name? Mary Beth Bassett.
Yeah,
I commented,
Mary Beth. We love her.
I was like, Mary Beth, what's up? I was like, what's going on with this? And then we reached out to you, so I'm excited we got a hold of you. I'm glad you're able.
Absolutely.
I know you're busy.
Yeah, super busy, man, but I'm glad to be here.
What all do you have going on?
So, I mean, right now we're basically, my days are crazy. I'm waking up early and going to sleep late, but we're just grinding and making it happen. So I run Outcast Charters, and we have 4 boats out of the yacht basin. And so we're running usually 2 trips a day, 7 days a week. And now we're doing, monster fishing apparel, which is a whole nother level.
Yeah.
And filming all at the same time. So it's been absolutely crazy, but just grinding it out. I love to fish, and that's what I tell people. They're like, man, we love what you're doing out there. And I'm like, dude, I just love to fish. That's why I'm here. I love it. So it's busy, but it's fun.
Walk us through what started first. I'm guessing the love for fishing.
Yeah, for sure, man. So growing up, what I really, my passion has always been fishing. I was fishing with my dad as a kid. My earliest memories were wade fishing with him in the surf, and just really enjoying God's creation, being out there every single day that I could was phenomenal. I was homeschooled too, so being homeschooled, I was able to fish all the time.
You got the easy life. Yeah. It was like, Mom, I want to go fishing. Okay, make sure you do your schoolwork.
That's
and
right.
then you're like, I didn't do my schoolwork, and she's like, it's okay, you went fishing.
We have one of our interns, Ethan. He's 17, but he's homeschooled. So he's able to come in and hang out with us, but then he's like, well, I'm going on vacation. We're like, dude, when do you ever do school?
It's a Monday.
You can do it on the road. We got 5 seconds. We're going to go on the FM right now as well.
Nice.
Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. This is Kickstart. I'm Gardy.
And I'm Curt.
It is 9:01, and we are about to talk about something really cool. It's called the Monster Catch. We got Captain Michael Sharky Marquez in studio. Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Good morning. Good morning. What's going on, guys?
How'd you get the nickname Sharky?
I wanted to ask
Captain
that because I feel like he caught a shark.
Yeah, I've caught a lot of sharks. Back when I was going to college, I was running pretty much charters in between classes at that point in time, and I was always coming into class smelling like fish, so nobody wanted to sit next to me. Yeah. But man, I was just notorious for getting out there and fishing in this. My very first boat was like 18 foot. It was a tiny boat, And when other guys were out there canceling trips, I was like, man, we're going deep sea. Let's go.
Wow.
And we were bringing in, huge sharks that were strapped into the side of the boat, when it was crazy days out there. So everybody's like, man, you're a shark fisherman to the heart. And
so 2 things. College was like yesterday for you.
I've actually been graduated for, like 3 years now.
But you're 23. You're
24.
young. 24.
Yeah.
You're a young guy.
Oh, you just had a birthday?
I did.
Well,
did.
happy birthday.
Thanks, man. It was June 28th.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I graduated when I was 20 from Texas A&M Galveston.
Because you were homeschooled and you were able to start earlier?
There you go. That's the money shot.
I done goofed in
Kurt,
life.
why weren't we homeschooled? Think about how much further and what,
how many more
career
likes?
we have.
How many more likes on Facebook would we have? Like, how much more successful would KHEA
I like how
radio
that's how
have been?
success is measured
That's
nowadays.
it,
It's
yeah.
all it's all social media. It's like, man, how many followers do you have?
Yeah, it is.
Like,
It's
nice resume.
They're
but
like, hey, here's $1 million. You got 1 million followers. Let's go. And we're like, okay, sweet.
It works out.
It does. It
So
does.
you were homeschooled. You were able to go fishing more. You found a passion and a love for it.
Yeah.
Ended up being called Sharky, which is a really cool nickname. And
Thank
then,
you.
When did you just start doing charters and taking people out?
Yeah, so when I was 16, we saved up and went on a charter with my family. And when we showed up, there was a gentleman named Rusty there. And Rusty was a phenomenal guy, but his deckhand didn't show up that morning. And he's like, man, he was like at the time, just not able to do everything on the boat that he could do without a deckhand. He's like, man, we're going to have to reschedule.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, come on. We're out here. I want to go. And I had no boating experience, but I had tons of fishing experience from growing up. And I was like, man, I'll work around the boat for my own trip, my own family's charter. And he's like, I don't know. And so it ended up, he's like, all right, we'll get out there for a couple hours and do it. And, man, I just fell in love with being on the boat and being out there. And I remember we were pulling back into the dock. And there's a gentleman who's always there to fillet the fish. And he's like, all right, let me give him a call real quick. And I'm like, yo, Rusty, I got this, Let me take over. I can fillet him. And I remember while I was filleting the fish, a phone call came in, and it was his deckhand. And he was like, hey, sorry I didn't make it to work. And he kind of looks at me and looks at his phone. And he's like, hey, buddy, you're fired.
Donald Trump, you're fired.
Boom, you're fired. Yeah, Donald Trump style. And puts his phone up, and he looks at me. He's like, what are you doing for the rest of the summer? I was like, I guess I'm working with you.
That's cool.
And so that's how it started, man. I worked like 90 days in a row with him. Just crazy busy, going to class and working and going to class and working with him, and decided to go to A&M because at the time we were from Angleton. So anyway, moved out to Galveston and started going to A&M Galveston. And
You're from
worked with this
Angleton?
guy. Yeah.
I'm from Angleton, too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Man, now I know 2 people from that town.
Wildcats.
Split this table.
So I moved to this area when
Wildcats.
I was 10. I was born in Lake Jackson. Then we lived, across from Middle School West.
Yeah.
Right on I-35. And then I love people from Angleton. What a small world.
It is
I
a
love
small
this area.
town.
They're just all over the place. There's too much.
Purple and white, dude. Come on.
Oh, man. He was homeschooled. He doesn't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Oh, I know Wildcats.
Come on,
13
everybody
years
knows the
in Angleton.
Wildcats.
Come on now.
Come on, dude. Show some respect. So we got Captain Sharky here in studio. So you found your niche.
Yeah.
You started out as a deckhand with Rusty.
Yeah.
And it just ended up
Rusty,
working
man,
out, huh?
He was awesome.
So
Yeah.
when did you decide to start your own?
So I was going to Texas A&M. I was working 3 jobs. I was working as a marketing director for a company and worked in oil and gas and did pretty much everything in between classes. And summertime was my time to charter. And I remember he sent me to captain school, went and got my license and all that good stuff. And then my sophomore year, I was chartering pretty much full time. Right when I was 18, I was chartering. And I always tell people, on a side note, super funny story, but people hop on my boat and they're like, man, you're kind of young to be a captain. I'm like, you should have seen me 5-6 years ago, buddy. They show up and hop on. They're like, where's the guide? I'm like, I am the guide.
Yeah.
Let's go catch some fish, So, but anyway, started chartering for him and worked for several other companies out there, ran different boats, found out what I liked, what I didn't like about the way companies were running, and went out and saved up money and bought a boat.
Wow.
And started running full time.
How old were you when that happened?
I want to say that I worked for other companies for about 1.5 years, so probably right before 20.
Okay.
Yeah. And then that's about accurate because 20 to 21 was the first year of Outcast Charters. And then because I remember right when I graduated, I had that was my first summer,
Work,
so.
straight to work.
Straight to work, man. Straight to work.
Wow.
And my family, they told me actually, they were like, hey, you went to school, you got your degree. They're like, you can't fish for a living. This is a bad idea.
Yeah.
But they said, you can charter for the first summer right out of school. And then, you got to go find a real job.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, that's fair. So I chartered and I chartered and I chartered and created this book of business. And anyway, at the end of that summer, we actually got voted Galveston's #1 charter with one boat. And, so that was such a blessing. And then I took that to my parents and I'm like, hey guys, I'm going to be fishing for a while.
Yeah.
And that was the start of Outcast Charters.
And that's when they said, hey, we'll buy you 8 boats.
No. No. They haven't bought me any boats, but definitely been there to help support. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I actually just hired my mom as an employee.
Dude, what kind of feeling is that?
She's awesome.
Yeah,
She's
but just
the
to be
best.
able to be like, hey, mom, you want to come work for me? Remember when you said maybe I should get a real job? Maybe you should get a job now.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. No,
I don't want my mom to ever work for me. I don't even. I'm like, Mom, I'll pay you to stay in Nebraska.
Man. I've been so blessed though with my family is phenomenal as far as just being there to help and support. So man, she books. I mean, we're taking, this is the time of year we're taking 20 to 25 calls a day. So she is on the phone all day. Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, right now in this season, can you fish, like almost every day if the weather allows?
Yeah, we are fishing every day. Yeah, 7 days a week. I got all my guides out right now on the boat. So.
Are they like, where's he at? Is he like, where is he showing up?
They know I've got a crazy. I'm always running places and doing different things. And this year more so than others. Last year I was chartering pretty much full time, and this year I stepped out into more of the, marketing side and all that good stuff.
I want to go back to one of the things that we talked about earlier, and it was your name, Captain Sharky, and you mentioned that you caught a shark. I have never seen a shark in real life until the other day. I think it was on Saturday.
Tackle Time, right?
Tackle Time fishing tournament. They brought in a 540-something
James
tiger shark, and it was my first time. I was covering it as a
you
news
were
story.
Actually there.
Yeah, I was actually there, and so I got to see it in person, and I touched it, and I was like,
feels weird.
This is awesome. Because I've always wanted to catch a shark. Talk about that experience. I mean, it can't be easy to catch a shark.
Well, it just depends. I mean, as a young kid growing up, I was always like, hey, pull me over into this little bait shop and let me go see if they got a shark tooth necklace. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the thing.
Mm-hmm.
You wanted a shark tooth necklace. So that kind of started my passion and, for sharks and the species. And, I just never got over that. Growing up as a kid, I always was into the shark teeth and, that's what really got me excited. And so having a passion for that helped. And then actually being able to go out, and Rusty was really notorious around Galveston for, there's heavy tackle fishing, light tackle, inshore, offshore. He was really notorious for heavy tackle fishing. Like this guy had some secrets, how to bring these fish up, how to call these fish in that no one else used. So getting to experience that and learn from him was absolutely it was phenomenal. So yeah, catching a shark can be really easy or it can be really difficult.
Use that heavy tackle, I'm assuming?
Heavy tackle, yeah. So, bigger rods, bigger reels, heavy line. To go and catch a 500-pound tiger like this guy does, he's actually, he's really well known for doing it every year in Tackle Time. This guy is bringing in huge fish. And he's an awesome guy.
Man, so I can't go out there with my little fishing Mickey Mouse fishing pole with the worm on the end of it, like it doesn't work that way.
Probably not.
That's what I fished like growing up.
Probably not.
Caught some good catfish that way.
Yeah,
he's from Nebraska. They just got the ponds.
Yeah, it was just ponds fishing, catfishing. That's it.
Yeah.
No one's doing a monster catch in Nebraska.
So what needs to happen though?
What's your slogan?
Great.
You have a catchphrase. Can you say it for us one time?
It's a monster, baby.
How did that start?
That's it, man. So
it just happened?
Man, that sounds good.
Get chills on my spine.
Can you say KHEA radio? It's a monster, baby.
I could probably do that.
Hit the record button. Let's go.
Y'all could play it like on the in between spots. I'll do that for you guys before we leave. But yeah, so actually when I started Outcast Charters, it was basically there was no market for social media, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that was what, 4 years ago. There was not a lot of people, especially in the charter industry. You're talking about a lot of the older generation that's been doing it for 30 years. They don't want to do anything with Facebook, social media, Instagram, nothing. So me being the youngest guy out there, first of all, and now the youngest business owner, I switched the whole market over to social media and really focused on that side because there was none. So when Facebook Live first came out, I was one of the first boats, if not the first boat, that was going live. And, when we would hook up to these big fish, these sharks and stingrays and, redfish, we would go live. And on this live camera, I don't know why, but I just kept screaming, it's a monster, it's a monster. And I never said monster, always monster. And so we had 10 views and 15 views, which evolved into 1,000 views, 10,000 views, 30,000 views. And then all of a sudden, I was walking into Walmart and people be like, hey, you're the guy that screams, it's a monster, baby.
Yeah. What kind of fish was that? Was the original monster?
It was definitely shark.
It was?
Yeah, it was
nice.
definitely the very first time I said it was hooked up to some, a big shark. But yeah, so that's how people kind of started recognizing me. And wintertime came around and me and my dad were sitting around the kitchen table just eating dinner. And wintertime is a little bit slow for charter fishing. And I'm like, man, I don't want to have to go out and get a real job. And, I don't want to have to do that. So what could we do? And that's when we drew on a napkin, monster fishing with a shark around it. And I called up a really good design buddy of mine, and bam, there it was.
And that's when I
applied for
started.
the trademark, yeah, and all that good stuff. So
Yeah.
I want to hear from our Facebook audience. If you're listening on 99.5 FM, go and check us out on Facebook. That's at KHEA Radio. I want to know, do you want to catch a shark, or is it just me? Like, am I the only person in the world that's like, man, I haven't caught a shark. I want to catch a shark.
If I'm catching a shark, I want to be with Captain Sharky.
my man.
Because if me and you go and try and catch a shark, I feel like we'll be the bait. Like, we may catch the shark, but he's going to catch us.
That was somebody asked me that question and said, like, hey, like, what happens when they bring that shark onto the boat? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like Jaws
What happens?
ruined that for everybody.
I mean, definitely these sharks, you don't want to get complacent. You definitely don't want to get comfortable because these things are wild, right?
Yeah.
But there's a professional way to handle it, and we try to be as professional as possible. I like to get my customers up to the front of the boat, especially when I'm boating these sharks. Man, back when I was like 18, 19, very first into the fishing charter game, I was the first one to reach down there and pick up that 200-pound shark and throw it in the boat. And now I'm, as I've gained more experience, learning the ins and outs and have a real good idea of how to handle these things properly, not hurt them, be able to return them, and all that good stuff. So,
Cool. Can we talk about the name Outcast Charters? How
Let's
did
do
you
it.
decide on that?
Let's do it. So, and I'm just sharing right now, so I got some people tuning in. So basically, when I went out and bought my first boat, the name of the boat was actually The Outcast. And I thought how perfect, I'm like young and, kind of set aside from the regular charter, what the charter company would be portrayed to be. And so I was like trying to think of names, and I was like looking at my boat, and I was like, man, let's just call it Outcast Charters.
Being one of the younger ones, did that give you a little bit of a chip on your shoulder to want to work harder and to kind of earn your spot?
Yeah, definitely. I remember it was pretty miserable, actually. The first year and a half, I mean, even going into 2 years was pretty miserable. Yeah, because A, you're the young guy. B, all eyes are on you, waiting for you to mess up. And then especially when we started catching traction and, accumulated this huge social media, the largest one in Texas for Facebook as far as charter companies, there's even more heat coming in from outside sources. And, so just definitely a chip on the shoulder, but really encouraged me to stay positive and keep my head up. And, if you don't have people that are trying to bring you down or hating, you're not doing it right.
That's got to be hard, though. At age 23, it's like, hey, I've done all this. Where do you stop? Like, it's like, man, haters, I've beaten it,
They don't stop. But you know what? That's okay because, man, it does. I truly just try to take whatever negativity and turn it around and it kind of fuels me now. Back when I was younger, I took it and I really took it to heart, and I was, like not able to sleep at night. But now it really kind of fuels me, and I'm like, man, I know that I get to sleep and lay my head down at the end of the night with a good, that I did everything good today.
Yeah.
I worked my butt off.
Next to the
make it
shark that you
happen.
just caught.
That's
that day,
right.
You're like,
That's right. I'm
One on each
cuddling
side.
with it.
One on each side.
That's right. I'm cuddling with the shark. Like,
I like that.
Luckily, you're not married, right? Because
No.
that could have been taken the wrong
no,
way.
but my girlfriend's probably listening. I'm like, oh, he's on air talking about me being a shark.
Hey, do you ever get people giving you advice? Sometimes it's probably good advice, or like, hey,
Sure.
don't burn out. You're working too hard. Slow down. Pace yourself.
For sure. Actually, all my charter customers. Last year was the first year that I just ran repeat customers. Like just guys that have been on the boat with me before, and this year has been even more fine-tuned because we've had to take so much time out for filming the series and stuff like that. So my customers are always getting on the boat, and they're like, man, congrats on your success, but you need to slow down. You need to take a break. And I don't know what it is, but it seems like in my life when I've got something figured out, I've got, okay, this is going smooth. This company's doing really well. I'm like, you know what would make this really hard? And I'm like, let's do that, And I just reach out, and it's just always about, setting more goals and more goals and more goals. I don't think that I keep telling my parents, I'm like, guys, when I'm like 40 or 50, I'm going to try to retire. It's going to be great. I'm going to enjoy it. And they're both looking at me like, you're never going to retire. And I won't. I'll just keep going.
You can't retire. Fishermen don't retire.
That's right.
You fish
That's
until
right.
you die, right?
That's right.
Well, most people retire then go fishing. So for you, it's just like, hey, I feel like I've been retired the whole time, but just keep setting goals and having fun, right?
He retires and never picks up a fishing pole again.
Plot twist.
Plot twist.
He retires and works like a refinery or something.
That would be epic.
Right now it's 9:19. This is KHEARadio.com, 99.5 FM. If you're watching on Facebook, share this video out right now. Let's spread the word. The Monster
share
Catch.
it, guys.
Hey, so episode 1 debuted last
Crazy
Monday. Can we talk about, I guess, the idea? Who approached you? Did you approach somebody? Where did the idea come from, the whole concept?
So, stoked you asked me that. So for last 3 years, I really kind of acquired this love for being on the camera. And it's not like a oh, look at me, but like I just kind of liven up, and it's just I really enjoy it. And I really enjoy educating.
Same.
Educating. Hey, there you go. He's like, yeah, me too. But I enjoy educating people and sharing my positivity out there, especially in the fishing industry. It's a small industry. So basically, to answer your question, look at me. I done drank my energy drink, and I'm on fire this morning. Same. But to answer your question, it was an idea when I signed on with Academy Sports and Outdoors. It was an idea that I really wanted to do this series, and they were like, "Hey, we're gonna support you and back you on this," which was absolutely awesome. And one of my best friends, his name is Justin Bowers, and he's actually the owner of this production company. And we just sat down and brainstormed, and we're like, "Man, how can we make this amazing? What can we do? Who can we fish with?" So it's definitely just a dream. Right. And I went up to him and said, what can I do to make this happen? So for the last 6 months, we went around and called some of the largest names in the fishing industry, Honda Marine, Honda Motors and Castaway Rods and Pin Fishing and all these great people. And we said, hey, we want to do this series, but it's going to be expensive. We need y'all's help.
Yeah.
As sponsors. So we created a sponsorship package and the whole 9 yards. So now we are full-fledged filming. It's been awesome. Yeah, I
went and checked out the production company. I used your friend Justin,
Yeah.
right? So he's done some stuff with Academy. I saw like Carlos Correa.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
some of the
yeah.
photos and some other stuff. But all the work looks great.
He's phenomenal.
Yeah.
He is phenomenal. And he was actually with me. He filmed my first online, Facebook commercial for Outcast Charters when it was him and 2 GoPros and one of those clickable cameras from Walmart with 27 shots on it, I mean, we've been friends for that long, and just seeing him grow over the years, and as we grow, he's always coming up with new ideas. Hey, man, you need to be marketing here. You need to be doing this and that. So he's a great friend. And
he's the one who suggested you market with KHEA Radio, right?
That's right. Right. KHEA Radio.
Well, whenever I went and looked at his photos, I was like, I think there's somebody in there, but someone's legit where they have like a cage and a rig, and it's like,
oh yeah,
he's like more camera than he is human. It's like the human cyborg camera. I was like, oh, that's awesome. We love gear as well. Uh-oh, Kurt's upset.
Cage and a gear? I need a cage to be legit?
Oh,
yes.
no.
What, Gardy?
I'll
yeah,
tell
you're not
you,
legit. You're not. Compared to him, he's more
no.
camera than he is man.
Oh,
He's a cyborg. It's like I remember reading comic books about him as a kid. This is where we're at today.
this is him.
I'm gonna delete that. This is the Mark video. Try me. Let's go.
Okay.
That was
Let's
a sweet
go.
video.
Thanks.
Sweet video.
Thanks.
I did watch it. It was really nice.
Not as good as your video.
no,
but
no,
it was
no.
good.
It was good. No, it was really good for real.
Thanks.
I was
how,
impressed.
How much time does it take to produce one episode of
Yeah. So
Monster Catch?
we film it. We have done absolutely crazy. God has been on our side.
Yeah.
We're filming 10 episodes, and we have a film day and a backup day. And so far, we've been able to nail every single episode in 6 to 10 hours, which is pretty crazy, going out there and being able to catch these fish in 6 to 10 hours. So we've been blessed on that end. The production time is 2.5 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
So after every single episode, they have 2.5 to 3 weeks to make the episode. So we've been filming for quite a while.
And the backup day, I guess, is just rain and weather.
Rain and weather.
Okay.
That's right. And if that doesn't happen, we're in big trouble. So we haven't had to experience that yet, and we have filmed the first 6 episodes. And I'm really, I'm so excited for every single episode. Each one has something amazing in its own way. The back half of this series is all just a disclaimer. Look, you heard it first on KHEA radio.
Yes.
The back half is
The
better.
back half is actually offshore based. So the front half is inshore. We're doing the trout, redfish, flounder thing. And then the back half is, we're going after some swordfish. We're going after some, tuna. We're doing mahi-mahi. So it's going to be really exciting. So if you're an inshore guy and you're like, man, I'm kind of getting tired of watching these inshore fish after the next couple weeks, just stay tuned because we are breaking it down with some offshore fishing.
I have to ask this with going back to the production company.
Sure.
Are you guys using drones? I'm trying to remember from that video if there were drone footage.
Lots of drones, underwater cameras. I know, I'll tell you that the craziest time that I ever filmed, we had, you'll know what this is, but we had 7 or 8 reds. Right?
Yeah.
See, I tell people that and they're like, "Oh my gosh!"
Those are like $30,000, $40,000 cameras.
Yeah.
Well, like starting, it's like, if you just want the body, it's like 14, 15, and then like 22 if you need all the stuff, and then it goes all the way up to
Yeah,
like,
they have one that's over 100K.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I'm just gonna have 7 or 8 of them.
on the water.
Oh,
That's the scary part, right?
Yeah, that's more for the land. They'll break out the crazy stuff.
We went and filmed on a charter before, and
Nice.
we flew the drone. And landing the drone on a boat is hard.
It's a game changer.
Reaching out,
Where's
Gardy's
my
finger.
still coming back. Oh, here it is. My little,
Did
he
you
was
get-
like, okay, catch it. And so then I was catching it. He was like trying to shut it down, and it was taken away, and I pop, hit my finger.
Oh, wicked.
Sliced them up.
Yeah, but the drone's
Wicked.
okay.
The drone's fine. That's the most important part. Gardy did an Instagram. He's like, guys, this is the end.
Just cut it off.
Like, Gardy, you got
Cut
9
it
more of
off.
those, buddy. We got 1 drone. You got 9 more fingers. You'll be all right.
You can still play bass with 9 fingers, right?
Yeah, you can. It was my left hand. Figuring it out. Hey, so we're talking to Captain Michael Sharky Marquez on KHEA Radio. If you're watching on Facebook, share this video out. Let us know what you have going on today. Have you already checked out the first episode of the Monster Catch? The second episode is debuting tonight at 7 o'clock. What can we
tonight at 7.
expect?
Man, I've
Yeah.
already scheduled that post. So when it drops, it's scheduled to just release. So I hope it drops on time.
Oh, it drops at 7.
Okay, good.
It
I
will be
scheduled it for
posted at 7.
I scheduled it for 7:30 just in
Oh,
case. I was
perfect.
like, give it a half hour. and
No,
then I'll
it'll
post
definitely
it.
post. What to expect tonight? We went flounder gigging with one of my great friends, Captain Quarter. Man, the guy is phenomenal. He's notorious around Galveston for catching some big flounder. I will tell you that we definitely wanted to bring some authenticity into the series. So, guys, we went out there. We had one night to film this, and it was blowing. Started off really nice evening, and it was blowing 30 miles an hour by the time we hit the first spot, which is not good. A lot of guys are just like canceling trips at that point. They don't want to, especially with gigging, you need good water clarity. We had none. So it was definitely a grind, but you're going to get to see that grind on camera, and you're going to get to see how we went around that and overcame that and ended up getting some big flounders. So
Yeah.
We learned about gigging for the very first time, we went to underwater green fishing lights here in Lamar, Texas. We did a Shine on the Mark, and they do those green lights.
Yeah.
And he has the gigging tool with it too, right? Like
it's nuts, right?
You can see it and
put it in the water.
You point it in the water, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they have like some with multiple lights, but this is interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's an interesting way to target these fish, but it's pretty neat. Shout out to Academy for posting this one because we got to be really careful on the gore and the blood and stuff like that. So we try to make it as clean as possible. I don't know how you stab a fish and it doesn't bleed too much, but we made it happen. We made it happen and try to make it. And also, this is we want it to be family friendly too. So,
how'd you get hooked up with Academy?
Actually through my friend Justin, which was awesome. He was doing all their outdoors, their campaigning, video work and stuff like that. And man, it's just been just going into the Academy thing, I couldn't be more blessed to be on with those guys.
Right.
They have been. It's been life changing being with Academy. It really has. They have, versus like Bass Pro Shop has like 10,000 sponsored guys. Academy has 3. Wow. So it's been an honor and a privilege to be able to represent their company. And man, they've just been more than amazing. But anyway, Justin calls me. I'm on the water. He's like, I'm filming this commercial for Academy, and man, they're looking for a saltwater brand ambassador. How fast can you get there? That's when I hung up and said, all right, guys, we got to go in. There is an emergency that's about 2 hours away that I need to make it to. I'll take you out tomorrow. I had to get there. So I drove in and talked with these guys. And I remember the coolest part about being with Academy and working with those guys is we filmed the first commercial with them, which was how to prep for a saltwater fishing trip. And they didn't know how it was going to go. We didn't know how it was going to go because it was their first saltwater video that they had put out. Got over 1 million views in like 3 or 4 days, which was awesome. So they were like, all right, so we have a market for this. This is great. And it took several weeks for them to actually also, if there's anybody with social media, right? If you're watching on Facebook and you're a kid or you want to, whatever you're trying to excel in, this is the best piece of advice I can give you. What you put on your social media actually does matter. They had my great friend Russ. Now he's my great friend. At the time, he was just an Academy, exec. But Russ, he actually spent several weeks, 8 to 5, going through the very first social media post that I ever made, from Instagram to Twitter to Facebook, and every single day, 8 to 5, he spent watching every single one of my live videos, reviewing every single post I ever made to make sure that there wasn't any language, profanity, drinking, partying. I mean, it was that in depth because, to be able to back, when you have Academy Sports and Outdoors and they're like, we want to promote you, they don't want to be able to go on your social media and find something that's going to put their brand in jeopardy.
We've talked a lot about this on our show because look at Zion. He actually stopped posting on Twitter for a year and a half.
I deleted my Twitter
before the NBA draft
like, nope.
because of that.
Not today.
Because he's like, I don't want to risk me posting something or me affecting my draft ability because of that. You could lose millions of dollars based on one post.
And that's the craziest thing with Academy, man. If they put something out there and they promote it and it's and it's not right, or somebody finds something on the person they put it out against, man, they can lose like millions off in one day.
Here's a cool question about Academy, but I have something first. If Academy ever tried to find dirt on me, it would be easy because I used to be employed there, which I love.
Hey,
but I had to quit, and I wasn't able to put into 2 weeks. And they told me, I said, hey, well, I'm a musician. And so I was actually quitting to go for a tryout in Ohio, which I got and ended up moving to Nashville and did some time over there.
Dang.
Yeah, but
look at you.
But
Gardy, they're on here. Careful.
I know. I love Academy.
Academy's watching right now.
But they told me, they're like, okay, that's awesome, but just know that you're not eligible to be hired by Academy in the future
ever again.
And I said, okay, I wish I could, but like the tryout is this weekend, or whatever it is.
Go.
So they're like, we understand. So I had to do it. So I love you, Academy. Please forgive me. Please forgive me.
They will watch this. So please forgive my friend.
I do love Academy. I love you guys.
He's saying that now.
Come
but
on!
Yesterday when he was talking to me about it.
Kurt's a liar. So here's a question. When would we ever be able to purchase some monster fishing apparel at Academy? That's something needs to happen.
Yes, I know it needs to happen. So right now we're working on their drop shipping program. There's a couple ways to approach it with Academy. We decided that the best would be through a drop shipping online program. That way, because a lot of our stuff is based off of social media, they do several posts throughout a month, which have me holding up fish. And basically, that's a way for them to be able to tag the product in their post that they're promoting. And then people can go to their online store and have it shipped directly to them. So setting up that sucker is a 3-month-long process. So we're working on it.
So currently, is your stuff printed and manufactured here? Is it overseas?
Yeah,
How does that work?
So everything's here. It's been an absolute journey finding quality. Being able to have reliability and quality, and we've gone from printer and this and that, but we're finally at a good place. We've got good consistency in our product. The quality's there. We're loving the way everything's turning out. So just trying to stay consistent and keep everybody happy and keep our retailers supplied. Especially through summertime, man, our stuff is doing really well in a lot of the marinas, and it flies. So we're doing 2 or 3 orders, a month through them. So keeping everybody stocked up has been quite the journey. Especially shout out to my mom, man. She's working full time on that when I'm trying to do 50 other things. So
where can you currently pick up some monster fishing apparel?
Yeah, so you can check it out. We have the Galveston Yacht Basin. We have the Marina, West End Marina, out in Jamaica area. We have Bayou Bait down there on 61st. On the island, I think we have 19 retailers on the island. Wow. And then as you go off the island, closer to Lamarck area, we have Serious Tackle right down the road. And so you can check out our authorized dealer page on our website at monsterfishing.com, and that'll get you to the closest retailer.
I think KHEA Radio should become an authorized
retailer.
We'll have a hat rack in here.
And we can make it work.
That's right.
As I'm looking,
all your guests, you could be like on the way out.
Here you go.
Check out this swag right here.
Yeah. Currently, the only shirt we have in here is one from Curt that he wore like 3 or 4 days ago.
Don't touch that shirt. It was really sweaty, and I took it off in here.
Hey, so what's cool about fishing apparel is it can get wet. It's like quick dry, or like even the water feels like it runs off.
For sure. It's awesome. So a lot of our stuff is UV protectant up to 50 SPF, and definitely it was built obviously by me, and I love to fish, so I'm out there on the water every day, and I wanted to be comfortable in something. So this stuff is lightweight, UV protectant, super durable. We just came out with our Monster Mesh Performance Series, which is
it's a cool name.
Thank you.
Monster Mesh.
It's awesome, man. It's actually hand sewn in mesh that goes from all the way from the arm all the way down the side, and it's got crazy breathability. And so we definitely, those are flying off the shelves, which is awesome. So.
Darty gets mad at me when I bring in like breathability shirts, and he's like, "Please stop wearing that."
If we have like a meeting, like I'm like, dude, you have to dress like
he's in a polyester like long sleeve,
or like I don't know, he'll wear like Hawaiian shirts and shorts sometimes with a visor. And I'm like, dude, we have like a meeting, or like, what are we doing?
How is that?
We're not going fishing. You look at your own vacation.
I want to go fishing all the time.
Hey.
You never know, right? You got to be ready to go
That's right.
on the water at any point.
I could call him up and be like, hey, this afternoon.
And I'm like, got to go, Gardy. Sorry.
Hey, we have a friend that's currently wanting to take us out on a 72-hour fishing trip, but for us, I feel like that's too long because we haven't even done like a 4-hour, 5-hour.
So a bay trip.
Yeah. So
no, that's legit though. 72 hours. You need to hop on that deal. That's a legit trip right there.
I don't know if I could put up with Gardy for 72 hours.
That's a long time.
It is.
That's a long time.
I don't know if I could sleep on the water for 72 hours.
I don't think you sleep
you probably
on the
wouldn't
fishing
be sleeping.
trip.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't be sleeping. You'd sleep, I guess, man, especially it sounds like that would be an offshore, and a ton of the time, man, the offshore fishing is on fire at night. So you'd probably be sleeping a lot during the day.
Yeah. When you're offshore, what are you trying to catch? Like, what is the monster that you want the most?
Yeah, I would say definitely probably tuna. Yeah, if you're way offshore, big tuna. The offshore guys aren't too fond of sharks because they'll be reeling in some trophy wahoo or something, and it'll get nailed by a big shark. Me, I'm like, all right, I got my shark on, so it doesn't bother me catching a big shark. So anywhere from tuna, shark, marlin, something crazy like that would be awesome. We primarily stay within 10 miles. Next year, we hope to have federal permits and be able to run way offshore. But that's why it's so exciting for the series to be able to hop on, some of these guys' huge boats and go way out for fish that I'm not used to targeting. So,
cool. So you're 10 miles in. What is the fish that you're looking for the most?
So we run a close offshore, which is within 10 miles, state water trip. We do kingfish, ling. Ling is some of the best eating fish around. Triple tail. We'll do Spanish mackerel, jack crevalles. That's our close offshore. And then our more inshore base is going to be trout, redfish, flounder, pompano, sheep's head, pup drum. There's a ton of different species that are inshore, within 10 miles that we're able to go out there and target.
Wow.
So.
One of the questions that I have is, for fishing tournaments like the one that's at Tackle Time.
Tackle Time,
right? Yeah. They're out there searching for records or prizes and stuff like that. I think 2 years ago, 2017, they caught the world record for the shark that was a hammerhead shark.
Yeah, it was like 1,200 pounds or something crazy like that.
Crazy big, right? Right here in our area, world record, right? Do you seek out those world records? And I think I have a little insight into possibility of that.
You might have some insight on that. Yeah, we definitely, being a fisherman, we go out there, we hit the water, and that's the exciting part about what we do. You never know what you're going to catch. You never know what's on the other end of your line. There's been times where you think you're on a certain species and it comes up and you're like, oh my gosh, what's this? We've caught red snapper at the jetties. We've caught kingfish, which shouldn't be at the jetties. So you never know. That's the beauty about what we do in saltwater versus freshwater. You have a pretty good idea. And I love to freshwater fish. I love all aspects of fishing, not putting one or the other down, but that's what really excites me about saltwater. As far as going out there and targeting these world record, man, every single day I'm out there trying to catch something crazy big. There's not a day I wake up and I'm like, I want to catch a small fish today, so
let's go catch the smallest one a day.
Right?
A record for the smallest fish?
I probably have that, actually. Yeah, we've caught a lot of small fish, but, we've caught a lot of
We started catching those small fish and had to throw them back, and it's just like, I want to keep it.
So put it in the fish tank or something.
Right?
No. Wow. So, okay, it's 9:39. This is KHEARadio.com, 99.5 FM. It's Kickstart. We're going to be on till 11. We're talking to Michael, Captain Sharky Marquez. He is out of Galveston, Texas, runs Outcast Charters. Also, make sure that you tune in for the Monster Catch tonight, 7 o'clock. You can watch that on KHEA Radio. You can also watch that on the Monster Catch. What's the @ for that?
Yeah, it's at the Monster Catch.
You can find it.
It's super easy.
Cool.
I was just thinking, and Gardy, maybe you can help me on this, is we're trying to grow KHEA Radio as well.
I'm thinking.
Right? And so we are at 8,800 likes, which is pretty good because we're a year old. We're a year
nice.
old.
Y'all are
we're
black.
babies. We're still babies, but we want to break 10,000. Our goal was to break 10,000 by the end of the year. And we were at 5,000 when we started the year.
Nice.
So we've readjusted our goal, and we said we want to reach 10,000 by August 1.
Nice.
So I want to offer a potential trade here.
What's the trade?
I'm down.
Okay. I will invite all of my friends to like Monster Catch if you will invite all of your friends to like KHEA Radio.
I'm doing it now.
Deal?
Deal.
I'm doing it now.
But
wait, there's a but?
I know my Facebook analytics. You're going to hit, how many friends do you have?
I got 1,500 friends.
I got like 1,300.
Okay. That's the deal. Y'all both do it.
Yeah, because it's almost evens
here's
out
the deal.
to you.
he's like my 5,000 friends versus your 1,500.
I like the math here. No, I'll do it. Something that you guys don't know about, you might not know about Facebook, when you hit the invite all button, it'll only invite 1,000 or 1,500, so you have to give it a week and go back and do it again.
Seriously?
Yep. But you'll get crazy likes real quick. You ready?
Awesome, yeah.
You
Invite
ready?
friends to like page, select all,
I'm doing it.
send invites.
All right.
I like that they updated it where you can do it.
I need to make sure I like the Monster Catch. I hadn't hit the thumbs up yet.
What? Whoa.
What? I thought I had.
Don't say that now. He's just doing it.
I did. I adjusted. Come
Community,
on. Monster
invite
Fishing
friends.
Family. Hey, good morning, Judy, Jose, Jennifer.
Hey,
what's up, folks?
Judy, what's up, guys?
We're talking to Michael, Captain
Look,
Sharky
I'm sending
Marquez.
4K invites, all right?
Woo.
Oh, snap. That was
Facebook
it.
was like, I don't know what to do.
Facebook was like, no. Okay, I sent it. Look, you're at 9. Let's keep track. By the time we leave, we'll take a look.
All right.
We're at 8,853. All right, guys, if you're tuning in and you're following KHE Radio, you need to be following KHE Radio. Everybody from my pages, hop on and like their page real quick.
So let's go back to the first episode here really fast. Episode number 1 is in. How was the reaction to it? What did you hear about the Monster Catch, and how did people respond to it? And I guess maybe talk a little bit about how that's going to change over the course of the season.
Yeah, for sure. So episode number 1 was awesome. I think we just hit over 200,000 views. So our projected goal is by episode 4 or 5, we want 1 million views per episode. It's obviously going to take some time to build that up. But I think for episode 1, I was
200,000 plus.
Yeah,
that's for a week.
Yeah,
because it'll continue to run too. Yeah.
Yeah, we were stoked to hit 200K. And as we continue, especially with a lot of the local companies, we're seeing that a lot of people in Galveston, Lamarck, Texas City, a lot of business pages are sharing. So we're always down to help cross post. So if you're watching this and want to help us out by cross posting the series, that would be awesome. Just send us a message on the Monster Catch page. But the reactions were great. I didn't see personally any negative comments on the first episode. And I think that it's just going to get better and better from here, man. I'm stoked about it.
What's episode number 3? Because I'm already thinking to next Monday here.
Yeah. So episode 3 is actually an Outcast Charters sponsored episode. So we hop on all of our boats. We take out some amazing people. And it's just a variety-packed filled episode. So we're catching a lot of different species. We catch a couple nice sharks in there.
Wow.
So you're going to get to see that. It's just a look into Outcast Charters. Episode number 4 is going to be pretty sweet. Episode number 4, we're hopping in our vehicles. We're heading down to the Trinity River, Palestine, Texas. And we put something pretty amazing on board with our good friend, Captain Bubba Bedry. And he's a world famous man. The dude is phenomenal. He's hands down one of the classiest guys I've ever met. And but man, he knows what he's doing. We're chasing alligator gar.
Cool. Do you ever get to do any fishing outside of Texas? Kurt's about to go to Florida later this week.
Boom. Yeah, we do actually. We fish Florida probably 3 times a year. We actually kayak baits off the surf and try to catch big sharks. Last year we probably caught a 600-pound tiger shark off the beachfront in Florida.
Wow.
So that was pretty legit. And man, just lots of different fishing styles. Wherever we go, I guess the number one question I get asked by customers is like, "Hey, when you're on vacation, do you still fish?" Yes. That's a strong yes.
Where's the best place to go fishing?
I like fishing in Mexico. Anywhere like Costa Rica, Mexico, because what's interesting about fishing is no matter where you go, there's different shelves, right? There's different water depths and structures that provide different styles of fishing. And what's awesome about fishing in a place like Mexico is you can be 2 miles off the beachfront. You can see your hotel and catch a 700-pound, marlin right there off the beach. Whereas in Galveston, our structure is so much different. You have to go 150 miles, to catch something crazy like that. And it's just all based. It's not because their fishing's better or worse. It's just all based off water depth and different styles of water, salinity, and stuff like that. I love fishing in Galveston because our inshore fishing is so phenomenal. If I was an offshore guy, Galveston might not be the greatest place for me to reside at because you have to go 40, 50, 60 miles to get onto some of these pelagic fish. But man, the inshore fishing is phenomenal.
So last year I went to Hawaii and I was like, it was my first time and only time to go. And I was like, I don't know if I'll ever come back, hopefully, right?
Yeah.
But I asked my wife, can we go on a charter trip? So we did. And we trolled the water, caught nothing except seasickness. And the boat didn't stop for like 5 hours.
Yeah, just trolling.
And it was it was the worst. And man, we didn't catch anything. And
that is terrible.
Yeah, it ruined the rest of the day.
That is terrible.
And so now I'm just like, I don't want to. I don't know. I want to go fishing the jetties, but
so our goal is to is to get you back out on the water. We try to catch everybody before they've been and had a bad experience because usually you're right. I mean, after you go on something like that, you said your wife, especially going with your wife's like, oh heck no, I'm getting my nails done. I'm having a spa day, buddy. I ain't going on no daggum charter trip again. But what's nice about fishing inshore and fishing the jetty system is there's so many different fish that are there and you have the opportunity to catch, and it's quick action. So you drop the anchor, we know our spots, we know where we're going to be catching these fish at, and it's that's the fun part. You're waiting maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and you're going to hook up.
Yeah.
So that's what's exciting about being able to fish inshore in Galveston versus, somewhere else. But hey, everybody has their days. You have your slow days, you have your rough days. And
yeah, I should have known, because whenever I asked, I was like, "Hey, how's it been?" They're like, "Yeah, we haven't caught nothing like all week."
Oh, geez.
Before going in, and they're like, "Yeah, don't have your hopes up." I was like, should have been right there, and be like, "Nah,
Yeah,
later."
you know what?
Give me that refund. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's got to be hard. We were talking, Pastor Josh, who is one of the pastors here at Abundant Life Christian Center, and KHEA radio broadcasts live from Abundant Life Christian Center.
In Lamarck.
I saw that.
One of the things that he talks about was we were out there fishing that day, and Pastor was with us, right? And we were catching all day. Like,
yeah.
we came back with, 20-plus fish in a matter of hours, right? Like, not very long at all in the jetties. And all the other boats were around us. We're like, we're not catching anything. And here we are throwing out, catching in. I caught a 27-inch red.
Nice.
So it was just right underneath the legal limit, so I got to keep it.
Yeah, that's perfect.
But it was, sometimes it's like that, and you just have to keep throwing the line out, right?
Just finding the spot, right?
Yeah, a lot of it's finding spot, and I talk on the outdoor show twice a week in the mornings, and we're always talking about different rigging tactics and techniques that we can use out there. When you're fishing the jetties, what's very important is that you have different rigging tactics and techniques and different things going, because you can be anchored up with 15 boats and nobody's catching fish except one boat.
Mm-hmm.
And you really got to think, they're doing something different. Yes, there's a different spot. Maybe there's a drop off there. But also, what can you do to get those fish feeding? And that's the biggest thing. So we have a lot of different rigging tactics and techniques that we're always changing out and until we find those fish. And once we do figure out what's really getting them going and what they're feeding on, we stick to that.
So you have the TV show, you have the clothing, apparel's all covered, you have the boats, you can take people out. Is there anything else in the works? Maybe like the rod, the reel, the tackle, the line, anything?
Yeah, so
the horn on the boat.
Yeah,
that's it. That's the next
monster
thing.
Steering
horn.
wheels.
It's like
The monster
you hit it.
horn,
You
right?
hit it, and it says it's a monster.
I love that. No, the biggest thing that we have going right now, and this is a great opportunity to tell you guys, is Castaway Rods. Castaway Rods is one of our biggest sponsors. They've been in business for over 30 years. When I was growing up, me and my dad, that's all we fished was Castaway Rods. So it's kind of crazy to look back and see now how we've been working with them. They're one of our largest sponsors. They provide our rods for the boats, and man, they're phenomenally made. So about a year ago, we pondered this idea of creating a heavy tackle. We're talking about light tackle and heavy tackle. Castaway has only produced light tackle rods, so all inshore fishing. For us, it's been tough because we do our light tackle with Castaway, but I can't only fish Castaway rods because I have to have the heavier stuff for the big sharks and tuna and all that crazy stuff. So we started kicking around this idea. As of January 2020, we will have the Monster Rod series released through Castaway.
Monster rods.
And we have 8 different rods. We have 2 trolling rods, 2 casting rods, 2 spinning rods, and 2 jigging rods. So all offshore fishing rods. It's going to be called the Monster Rod by Castaway, and we're stoked about that. So
I love the name Monster.
Thank you.
It's just when you add it to like Monster Radio,
you know, yeah, whatever you want to use,
right? Like it just makes it sound so much better.
Monster Taco.
That's right.
Right?
You're going to be saying it now. Like, literally, you're going to be like, man, I really want that Monster Taco right there. I mean,
We're going to get a cease and desist. We're going to be like, actually, Monster is owned by Monster Fishing Apparel, LLC,
That's right.
Galveston, Texas.
We're at our
Please
taco
stop.
cook-off saying Monster Taco, and everyone's like, no, stop. Stop.
Hey, speaking of tacos and food, what's your favorite kind of fish or seafood to eat?
oh, man, great question. I really enjoy flounder. I love flounder. I make a mean stuffed flounder. What else? Let's see. Triple tail. Triple tail is absolutely phenomenal. It's more of a rare species, so we don't get a lot of them. When we do, I'm always like, all right, let's go. It's going to be dinner time real soon. But other than that, man, I really just enjoy getting out there and catching these fish and teaching people that have never been out before. I know when I first started chartering, it was a big deal for me to be able to set the hook on a fish and hand it over. But now I just live through these customers. I've caught the fish before. it's more about them experiencing that. So that's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, whenever you go out on a charter, like one of your charters, right, Outcast charters,
sure,
you handle everything. Like if I'm on there, what do I expect as a customer who's never been? Like, how does that go?
What's really awesome is when we have people that have never fished before, they hop on the boat and they're like, look, I'm going to be your problem person today because I've never picked up a rod and reel. But those are actually the best people for a charter because they don't have any bad habits. They don't have any, whereas people have fished growing up, maybe they have accumulated bad habits, setting the hook early, setting the hook too hard, not letting it sit, Yeah. So the people that have never fished before are usually best because you tell them what to do and they're like, all right, so I wait for this and then I set the hook and fish on. So definitely what you can expect is we provide the rods, reels, gas, tackle, bait. We fillet the fish at the end of the trip. Everything is provided. You bring some drinks, snacks, and hop on. For the light tackle, you guys actually physically cast those out and fish those poles. And, setting the hook, everything's up to you. We'll bait the hooks for you, though, tell you where to cast. And then for the heavy tackle, we get out there and we set these rods out, and we just wait for a big fish. They stay in the pole holders until we get a big fish on, and then it's game time.
Wow.
So
that sounds like it's a good time. It's easy. You just go out there.
Yeah, it's super easy.
Reel them in.
That's it.
Catch some monsters.
That's it. Catch some monsters.
Hey, here's a question, and then I also got a text message from one of my buddies who does some fishing stuff, and I'll read that in a second. So someone asked about the monster tattoo. Yeah. Do you have one? Are you going to be getting like?
I do have a. So a lot of people don't know because you look at me and you think I don't have any tattoos. But I have a ton of tattoos. I do have a monster fishing tattoo.
Nice.
Yeah, I do. Check that out right there.
Yeah, there it is. That's what's up with the logo.
Right there, yeah. So I have the monster fishing tattoo. I have several other tattoos. Probably my favorite is my right arm, which is, I don't know, are we live streaming right now?
Yeah, they'll see.
Yeah, so you can see I've got a marlin there.
Oh, yeah.
It just looks like the shirt just keeps going.
You just wear a cutoff sleeve. Yeah,
it does.
It's the same color.
Then I've got my mahi, and then this is the craziest one. I've got a big great white up there somewhere.
Who's your artist?
So actually, great story about that. My artist is CK. He works at Von Striga in Galveston, Texas, and man, CK is actually the designer for over 70% of monster fishing.
Nice.
So he hand draws these, he vector files them, and gets them on a computer for us to be able to send over and get printed.
Dude, you should get a long sleeve shirt. You know how the fishing, a lot of sleeves are long, and then just get your exact sleeves, like with that exact artwork on there, and people would put it on. Think about how cool that would be.
That would be pretty dope. Yeah, that would be pretty dope. I like that idea. I might have to remove a few for that. No, I'm just kidding.
With Faz the Academy name on it.
That's right.
Next time it's going to be the KHEA radio logo. Right?
Yeah. Where's that going? I'm going to need some serious endorsement dollars for that.
KHEA right there. So
to tattoo it a lot. A lot.
Well, we had always joked whenever we hit 10,000. Actually, now that I say joke, I don't think it was a joke, but Kurt's supposed to get a KHEA tattoo.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You might.
I want him to be like a SoundCloud rapper, so it's like KHEA radio, kind of like Post Malone.
The only thing that's keeping me is when Gardy fires me for something that I say on this show.
Yeah.
Now I'm stuck with this KHEA radio tattoo.
SoundCloud.
But I feel like I got to the 10,000 like mark.
You earned
it. Part of it. So like forever.
It's worth it.
Forever, it's a part of me, right?
Yeah, forever. That's what I use, as an excuse.
Yeah. So I was talking to my friend yesterday. I call him Paco, but it's Jorge George Guzman with Texas Southern Lifestyle, I believe.
Yeah.
And so
we know TSL.
Yeah, I was talking to him about some fishing stuff.
Yeah.
And he just texted me a while ago. He's like, "Man, you didn't tell me that the Captain, Marquez Sharkey was coming in there. Dude's cool." And so
we love our
TSL
TSL guys, man. Good guys over there.
I try to post in there my redfish that I caught the one time, and they're like, "Stop posting that picture.
Dang.
It's a year old."
No, they didn't say that.
I'm like,
he posted it every day for 2 years. It's like
it's the greatest accomplishment. Man, my form was amazing. I had one foot on the boat. I had the other foot. I had bruise marks all along, literally below the belt, bruise marks, because that pole was in there, and I'm like, I need to work on that next time where I'm not sticking the pole right into my gut, you know, and it's just ooh.
Hey, we got about 3.5 minutes left. Is there anything else you'd like to share or remind anybody real quick?
Just check out the Monster Catch on Facebook. if you're tuning in and you're a YouTube guy, check it out on YouTube. We just launched the Monster Catch YouTube page. Other than that, if you're looking for nonstop fishing action, we've already been live several times today on the Outcast Charters page, hooked up to big sharks. My guys are out there doing some serious work today, Captain Shane and Captain Matt. So yeah, check out our Outcast Charters page to stay tuned with all of the fishing adventures that we're doing. And then if you want to follow my public figure page, check it out at Michael Sharky Marquez.
Done.
And that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
So tonight, 7 o'clock, the
Tonight,
Monster
7
Catch.
o'clock. Yes.
Again.
Episode
2. I'm excited
Can't
for
wait.
it.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
I got so excited that I saw it cross-posted with us last night, and I was like, I got to get this scheduled in. I got to do it. I
That's
was like
dope.
ahead
So you
of
could
it.
actually see it as a cross post.
Oh, I've watched the video already.
What? You can see it?
Yes.
That's legit. I was going to say I'll show you guys, but
Yeah.
you know.
I've seen it. It's good.
Thanks. Thanks.
So we'd have to
Spoiler.
get you back. We
Spoiler.
want to. Would
Yeah,
you go
yeah,
up
yeah.
and come back, talk with us?
For sure, man. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Very cool. This
We'll
is
come back.
KHEA Radio. Make sure you go like the Monster Catch. Check out everything that Captain Marquez has going on, and maybe book a trip to
Yeah,
go check out one of those
absolutely.
charters.
Absolutely.
It's KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. When we come back, we'll be talking to Toastmasters. Stay tuned.
Ooh, good song. Why do we have so good? I don't like doing this radio show. I want to go listen on the FM, 99.5 FM, to all these amazing songs that we have on there. You can also download the KHEA Radio app. Just search for KHEA Radio. On there, you get some discounts and some coupons, and you can listen to us 24 hours a day.
That sounds awesome.
Dang,
I
you're
know.
working hard if you're live 24 hours.
We are 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We don't ever get to leave here. No,
We're
it's-
stuck in this room, actually.
That's why I trampled
The
over
world's
some
greatest
sleeping bags on the way in.
The world's greatest experiment. How long can these guys last on the radio?
We've done 8 hours before.
Wow.
Actually 9, but that was the longest.
That's solid.
We were raising money, and that's how we were able to fund a lot of this gear.
They were like, if you want us to stop talking, just give us money, and then we'll stop talking. And they're like,
$100,
okay,
$100.
here, take it, stop.
It was
Get
all
out of my head.
through Facebook. We did it in December, but yeah, we did like a big thing, like, hey, if you've ever been touched by anything we've done, feel free to donate.
Nice.
And a lot of people. It was awesome.
That's how we got our gear.
No,
So
that's
we used to
legit.
have a board and stuff, but we were streaming live on a webcam.
Yeah.
And we did that for like 9 months, just streaming on one webcam. People could tune in, and well, I mean, we were still growing,
Right.
but we knew that we could have a better system.
Yeah.
So this gear, actually, as long as we have internet connection, we can actually pack this gear in a backpack
Oh,
and go
that's
live
nice.
from anywhere.
That's nice.
So we've done shows at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. We've done it at Burger Nation NASA,
Macio's.
That's legit.
Macio's,
Galveston.
and Galveston. So we just need to get internet on a boat and come and do our show live on your boat.
Get a little mobile hotspot.
Yeah,
Woo! There you go.
we've done it with hotspots before. It'd be
Can you
perfect.
imagine us?
I have unlimited data with a mobile hotspot.
You do?
I do.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's do a show on the boat, can we?
Let's do it, man. We'll do a live show.
Oh my gosh.
We could
that'd
probably
be
do an
dope.
hour before
Yeah,
our
we can
gear
do an
dies.
hour.
Like just thinking about the batteries, but yeah, everything is battery powered.
Yeah, we can do an hour.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah.
I'm
we could even
so
wait till we get
excited.
hooked up on a big fish and then go live.
Then go live.
And then
Yeah.
go live. Hey, we're live
Awesome.
out here. And be
On a
dope.
monster.
On a monster. Man, you're awesome. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man. It was fun. Thanks
I'm
for having
checking
me.
the numbers here. I mean, we only got one
So
from
far?
you. So far, I think you need to do some more promoting.
He's probably lying.
I am lying. We were up to 8,900.
That's
so
awesome.
Was that
thank you.
80?
It was like 50 something. So we're up 40.
Oh, yeah.
Woo!
We're gonna keep on growing.
There you
We're
go.
gonna
I
keep on
appreciate you, and I hope you get
Absolutely.
some of ours to follow
Yeah, that'd be
Monster
awesome.
Catch.
That'd be awesome, man. Thanks so much for sending your invites out.
Woo, woo.
Oh, we got 8,896. Dude, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna break that 10.
Oh,
I'm
we're breaking
excited. Change your goals. Like, if you're watching right now and you're like, hey, I have a goal,
Oh, yeah.
update that goal.
Update that goal. I feel that.
Update it.
I feel that.
That's good stuff. That's
Awesome.
deep.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, guys. Man, it was fun. Dude, thanks
Nice
for
to
having
meet
us.
you.
Yeah,
Hey,
absolutely.
we'll hit you up, and
Yeah,
I know you're
we'll
busy, but
collaborate. We'll do
let's
something.
do some stuff together.
Hey, brother.
Thank you. I
Appreciate
appreciate
man.
it.
Thanks for having me.
What's up, Facebook? Hey, did y'all enjoy that? Would y'all like to see Captain Sharky back in studio? I know I would. I want to go out there and try and catch a monster myself.
Okay.
And if you've been on one of those trips, let us know what your experience is as well. But I'm excited for that tonight. Tonight they are going to be debuting episode number 2 of the Monster Catch. Feel
I'm
free to
super excited about this next guest. as well.
Curt was going to bring his trophies because he did a lot of, not debate, you did public speaking, right?
Yeah, it was public speaking. Debate, I've coached debate. But public speaking, I was a national runner-up.
Okay. Are you world champion?
Woo!
Oh, I could take her on. Let's go. Let's go. Let's start this challenge right now.
Hey,
I almost brought in all my trophies, but then I goofed and didn't. But I have a whole bunch. Man, I do have some pictures. I have a video of my national runner-up speech from Madisonville, Virginia.
Very good. Well, like I say, it's a great chance to come and compete again.
Mm-hmm. So can you introduce yourself and then, what we're talking about today?
Yes, I'm Terry Pettyjohn. I live here in Lamarck. We moved here about 12 years ago from the Dallas area. Mm-hmm. I've been involved in a lot of different things in the community. And one of my great passions now is Toastmasters.
So Toastmasters, it's a really cool name.
It is. Well, we kind of, people, when we say Toastmasters, they think, am I giving a toast? Is that all it is?
Here.
There
yeah, that's
you go.
what it sounds like.
Now, there are some clubs that actually begin meetings with a toast. But primarily, it was started at a YMCA back in the 1900s, early 1900s, that was dedicated to leadership and communication training.
Okay.
And so we are an international organization. It is a nonprofit. We're not multi-level marketing. Nobody's making any money in Toastmasters directly from Toastmasters.
Mm-hmm.
We pay a small dues, and most of the times that runs about $8.50 a month. But like I say, it's just a way for you to practice your leadership skills. I know for myself, I became a supervisor at a large insurance company in downtown Dallas when I was 26 years old, and I was so unprepared. And if I had done Toastmasters, I think I would have really changed my career at that point in time.
So does Toastmasters, help train you to be able to speak publicly, or is this somewhere where you instantly go in and compete? How is it set up?
You begin very slowly. There's several different roles in Toastmasters. What I say is about 30% of what you get out of Toastmasters is public speaking.
Okay.
The rest is leadership. Now, you get a chance to host the meeting as the Toastmaster of the day. You get a chance to lead the table topics, which is our impromptu speaking part. And that is where you will ask questions of 3 different people normally, and they have to stand up and give a 1 to 2 minute response. Normally there's a theme of the day, so the table topics usually will go with that theme. Then there is the general evaluator who will evaluate the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And what's really unique about Toastmasters is every speech in Toastmasters is evaluated by a fellow Toastmaster. So when you give your normally 5 to 7 minute speech, which is planned ahead of time, you're not normally asked to do that impromptu.
That's what I would do. I would roll off the dome.
Hey, that's a skill too. And I have done that before and not practiced, so I have to be able to do that impromptu.
All this judging is making me stressed out a
Here's
little
the
bit.
thing. Yeah, because Curt,
I'm starting to do my warm-ups. Ba 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 ba. Ka 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 ka.
Now we actually in the meeting we actually have an ah counter that will count your ahs and ums. We have a grammarian that will be listening for grammatical mistakes. But we don't do it in a negative way.
Yeah.
We do it in a very positive way. And I've never seen any group that was trying to help you get better and improve your communication skills, like Toastmasters.
Mm-hmm. If Curt was a judge, he would definitely be trying to drag people down.
It's not a judge. It's an evaluator.
He would show up in a judge gown with a gavel.
My high school speech coach, right, would judge our ahs and ums, but instead she would throw markers and erasers at us. And then at one point she had this little tin can that she would ding, every time he would say an and I'm just having flashbacks to all of that.
And there are some clubs, and it is optional, is that you have the little dog clicker. When you say you get a click. And it's just to make you aware.
It's the jolt.
No electricity involved. But that's optional, and every club does it a little bit different.
Yeah. I took speech at Galveston College, or it was called public speaking, and I remember saying a lot of ums and oohs and everything else, you just don't even notice it. And
Yes.
I was just going through my points and bullets, and I didn't realize I was saying it. But then when I saw the notes and evaluation back, it was like this. You said this that many times, like I didn't even know.
Yeah, it is amazing how quickly, after one or two Toastmaster meetings, when you're listening to a speech on television, you'll be going, "Oh, there's an
Yeah.
there's an It's
It happens to the best. I
oh
would
yes,
I would assume.
absolutely. But again, it's one of those things you can always get better,
Yeah.
and that's what the goal of Toastmasters is.
Why is it so important to hone those skills?
Well, if you want to be an effective supervisor, effective manager, each one of these skills is necessary. So that's one thing. But then also, even in your daily life, communication is the key to everything. I've been married almost 45 years now to my lovely wife, Carrie. And the key to marriage is communication. And that's really what Toastmasters is about. There's several different roles that help with that. The eye counter, the grammarian. It's to develop those skills. Those roles are to develop your listening skills.
Mm-hmm.
And, we have a problem in our society with listening today. So this is a way for you to do it in a fun way with a great group of people, very motivated people. To be honest, most of my friends now are Toastmasters. At our Mainland Toastmasters Club, we go out to eat at Stuttgarten afterwards. And the first time you visit, we actually take you over and buy you dinner. So you have a chance to visit with us and see what we're like outside of a meeting.
That's awesome. We got about 40 seconds left, and we're going to go on the FM as well. We're talking about Toastmasters. If you have not heard of Toastmasters before, we're going to share everything that they have going on. You mentioned Mainland Toastmasters.
Yes.
That's the name of the one you're out of?
Yes, we meet at the Texas City Lamarck Chamber of Commerce.
This has been going on since, you said, the early 1900s?
Yes. The Toastmasters, not Mainland Toastmasters. We've only been a club since 2016.
Okay, cool. Cool. So we got 20 seconds. Anything else you'd like to share before we go?
I'm just ready to put my speaking skills to test here against you.
We're ready for you. Tomorrow's we're not having a normal meeting tomorrow. We're going to meet at Benito's at 7 p.m. It's kind of the passing of the torch where our new officers will be taking over, and so we're going to be having a special meeting tomorrow. It's more of a social.
Cool. Here we go on the FM right now.
KHEA, Lamarck.
Good morning. This is KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. This is Kickstart. I'm Gardy.
And I'm Curt.
It's 10:09 on a Monday, TGIM. It's been very good so far. We had Captain Sharky in studio talking about the Monster Catch, which is debuting its second episode tonight at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, I thought maybe, as we're talking and transitioning from fishing to public speaking, like Captain Sharky, he's winning some awards. Like he's got a good on camera presence.
He does.
He's got a good speaking voice. He's got a catchphrase. I didn't hear a whole lot of uhs and ums, so he's not getting that little ding in the tin cup like I used to.
Well, let me just say that sometimes sitting here in front of 3 people is one thing. Standing in front of a group of 50 people can be a whole different experience.
See, I can do it all day.
You can. But can everybody?
I can sit in front of a room full of strangers and talk all day long because I'm never going to see them again. Right? Like, that's how I used to do it. I've spoken in front of thousands of people and given my speech in front of thousands of people, and I don't care because you'll never see those people again.
Let me just say, based on my experience and what I have seen in recruiting Toastmasters, there is a lot of glossophobia out there.
What is that word again?
Glossophobia.
What does that mean?
That is the fear of public speaking.
Wow.
That's the number 2 fear. It's the number 1 fear.
Wait, what's number 2 then?
Dying.
The fear of death. I got you.
So people would rather, be in the casket than be at the funeral having to say something about somebody in the casket.
Wow.
That's one of me. Definitely.
Yeah. So we're talking about Toastmasters. Since 2016, there's been a mainland version. How many are there? Like, how many Toastmasters?
There's about
groups?
15,000 clubs in the world.
Okay.
375,000 Toastmasters in the world.
So it really is like a world champion thing.
Absolutely. A few years ago, it was the first time they held it in near India.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Indian clubs now. and they're growing quite rapidly over there.
How does that work with different languages? Is it all in English, or it just depends?
Each club is a little bit different. Like in Houston, there is a Hispanic club that they speak Spanish. I visited a club in Japan in 2016, and in that particular club, they did one meeting in English and one meeting in Japanese, so they alternated. A lot of clubs do it in English to improve the speaker's English skills. A lot of clubs in the Houston area have a lot of non-native speakers, and that's the way they can help develop their skills.
Yeah.
Their English skills.
What are the different reasons people decide to join? Is it all over the place?
It's all over the place. There's some people that just this fear of speaking,
right,
and they want to overcome that.
Mm-hmm.
So there is that. Obviously, it's because some of them I just hound them to the death until they join. I am the #1 recruiter in the Houston area for Toastmasters. I literally know people all over Houston and all over the world because of Toastmasters.
Mm-hmm.
So it's building your network. I did not realize how important building your personal network is, and that's what you can do in Toastmasters, because you can meet a wide variety of people in an area. You have your club, but you also have an area. Then you also have a division, and you also have a district. And we're in District 56, which covers up from Bryan College Station down over into East Texas and not too far west.
So if you have a fear of public speaking, how do you get over that?
We start you off very gently, and we never ask anyone to do anything that they're completely uncomfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
We'll normally start them off with the role of the counter, and it gives them a chance to sit there and make tick marks. And normally the most you have to do is stand up or not stand up and say, well, Terry had 3 uhs, George had 4, Bill had 1, that kind of thing. So that's how we introduce. It's one of those things of introducing slowly. And it's such a great group of people that you really kind of get to know them. And so you have that. And it's just like exposure. And that you learn that you're not going to die if you mess up. I never was afraid to do public speaking, but I wasn't really very good at it. But I do remember one where I was doing a speech, and literally I started sweating, and I could feel the sweat running down from my armpit there. And so it happens to all of us.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen so many cases of it working.
Yeah.
Truly, there's only been one person that I've not been able to cure of the fear of public speaking. And it was really unusual because she came to the first meeting, she joined, she never came back.
Wow.
If you don't come, we can't help. But if you come, I can give you tons of cases of where they've overcome it.
One of the things that I find very intriguing about this is there are a lot of public speaking. I was on the we called it forensics team, which is not science,
right?
It's the art and communication of public speaking. And one of the things that we would do is we would go and we would travel every weekend and we compete in about 11 different categories. So you would pick, 4 different categories. Right. You might write a persuasive speech about trying to persuade someone to do something. And there was after dinner speaking and everything else. One of the things that I noticed, and the trend was, there were a lot of college campuses that were getting rid of public speaking. A lot of high schools that are getting rid of communication. And Gardy, you and I both know this, that communication is key. If you can't communicate your message or promote your business, you fail.
Absolutely. And I don't care what business you're in, whether you're a teacher, a salesperson, on the radio, it is about selling yourself. And the really great thing that I've seen from Toastmasters, and I am the youth leadership chair for the Houston area for the District 56. And I've seen kids who literally could not walk up to the podium, to the lectern to speak. We got them over that at age 10.
Mm-hmm.
And to see that growth in them was it was life-changing for me.
So starting early is key.
Oh, yeah. It's just like basketball. If you want to be a good basketball player, you start at 9 or 10 years old. You don't wait till you're a senior in high school to start.
And that's usually what school does, it seems. Like when it comes to public speaking and speech.
Yes.
I remember being terrified talking in front of my friends. We took speech in high school, and I was very, very – and I knew everybody in there by name, but they were they judging me? What was going on in their head? Am I messing up? Does what I'm saying make sense? Am I prepared? Yes. There was a lot, and I was very, very nervous. I remember that.
And the thing I really love about Toastmasters, and I've just seen again over and over, it's the self-empowering, because once you've overcome the fear of public speaking, to stand up in front of somebody and speak, it's life-changing. Then you want to go change the world.
Yes.
Because, if you want to really make a difference in the world, you've got to move more than one person, right? Mm-hmm. And what's the best way to do that? A great speech.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like I said, that's what Toastmasters is about.
When it comes to communication, one of the things that I've learned is getting your point across as efficiently as possible. Sometimes in school they put word counts or page, like you have to write a 10, 20, 30-page paper.
Absolutely.
But as I continued education, some of my teachers were like, if you can get this done in 1, 2, paragraphs, page, right, that's what's better, because you're doing it efficient and you're not wasting somebody's time. Their time's valuable. And that's like real world application. It's the same. Can the same be said for public speaking?
Oh, absolutely. When I taught the kids, we had the youth leadership program and we actually did it in the Woodlands. And there was a lady there who had been a manager at a law firm. And she literally when they would hire new attorneys, some of them were not prepared to do public speaking, so they couldn't go to court or do anything like that. Or they would talk on and on and on. So they would go to Toastmasters because it is timed. And, most speeches are 5 to 7 minutes. Now there's some longer speeches that you do. But it is important to be able to communicate clearly in a set amount of time. Mm-hmm. And that's another great thing about Toastmasters.
What are some great speeches in history? I think of, the first one that comes to mind is Martin Luther King's, I have a dream speech.
Absolutely. I mean, how many people did that inspire in the world? I mean, it was just amazing. It's still talked about.
It is.
Of course, what's considered the greatest speech is one of the shortest, and that's the Gettysburg Address. It's only like 214 words or something like that.
You're forgetting one.
Curt Casper's national
runner-up speech about himself.
Well, why don't you come to Toastmasters and do that speech?
Could he do that?
Because there's only a 5 to 7 minute time limit. This was an 11-minute speech that I did almost 10 years ago.
Well, if you'll join us, there are certain projects that you do that are longer. So you could do the 11. Or you could learn how to do it in 5 to 7 minutes.
What?
It was an 11-minute speech.
11 minutes. There was
wow.
I think there was a word count, if I remember correctly. No, there was no time limit. At that point, there was no time limit for the Interstate Oratory National Championship. There was no time limit. During the season, there was like a 10-minute time limit.
Yeah, I didn't do speech or public speaking, but I did do theater whenever I was in high school, and that helped getting on a stage with the lights, zoning out, memorizing lines, getting your, taking direction and delivering a message as well.
And I think that I'm really interested in education, and I think we've taken a lot of that away since we've gone to the standardized testing. We put entirely too much emphasis on standardized testing. And Curt, I'm going to tell you about a teacher at Texas City High School, Victoria Graves.
I've met her.
Have you?
Yeah, Miss Graves. She's the debate coach, the debate and speech coach at Texas City.
She is unbelievable. She invites lots of people to come be judges at the Texas City High School debate tournament. Mm-hmm. And that was another super experience. And some of these kids, I go into those tournaments and judge, in that case, judging those kids, it actually makes you optimistic about the youth, because there were some unbelievable kids.
Good talent.
Oh yes, absolutely. And that's why we have to bring speech and debate back to the high schools, and it be more popular. I was talking to a kid from Katy who we had gone to try to get some Toastmasters over in the Katy Fort Bend ISD, and the debate team got $1,000 a year for travel and that kind of thing.
That's not much.
That's not much.
You know, there is a debate tournament, or I guess league for high school students.
Yeah,
it's called Huddle, which is the Houston Urban Debate League, which they go and I've judged there. I used to coach at Chavez High School in Houston as a debate coach. You know, I was going to bring up about kind of this, like, hey, there needs to be more funding and stuff for speech and debate. There was a gentleman, his name was Sean, I think his name was Sean Stone. I know that sounds very similar because it's the same name as the guy who runs
Stone Cold Meats,
but I believe his name was Sean Stone as well. But he was on the Arizona State team, and in 2010, I want to say it was, they were in the top 10 nationally. Yeah. And Nebraska is usually, when I grew up, there were 4 schools in the top 25 nationally in speech, and so it's not easy to do. You have to do a lot, but they were in the top 10, and they were starting their year off that year in 2010, and the president came in and said, hey, by the way, this is the last year that you guys are going to have a team because we're cutting funding completely for you guys. And he actually wrote a speech about that, and it was an ADS, which was an after dinner speech. It's supposed to be funny, but it's also supposed to be persuasive. And so he actually broke his speech into the 5 different points, and they were the 5 like different steps of like getting over grief. So like anger, stuff like that. Yeah, and it was really kind of cool. But he got to this point, and Arizona State decided to use the funding that they were going to use for the team to put up these like sunblocks over benches. And he had a picture of it, and it was the funniest thing. I had heard him before, but this was the final round of the tournament. And he goes, "You are in the desert. You can't escape the sun. Why are you taking away funding for a speech team?" And he was in his 4th point or whatever, which was anger. So he grabbed the poster of the picture, broke it over his knee, because obviously it's the last time he ever needed it because it was the final round, and he threw it. And it was the funniest moment, and it's just like, hey, yeah, speech means something, because you're doing it in front of 500 speaking competitors, who have done this their entire. I gave up hours. We would leave Friday at 5:00, of our college. We wouldn't get back sometimes until Monday at 8:00 in the morning, and then go around and go back to class. And that was most weekends. And here is somebody who just wants to take away funding and give it to, like putting up a shade protector in the middle of the desert. I think, I'm going to get on my soapbox. There is not a better investment than learning how to become an effective communicator, because you're going to need it on the job.
Yes.
You're going to need it in your relationship. You're going to need it in just every single day we communicate.
That's it. By the way, do y'all heard of this guy named Warren Buffett?
Oh, yes.
No. Who?
He's kidding.
Yeah, I know.
From Omaha, Nebraska.
That's right. Do you know that he says there's one skill that you can learn that can increase your career earnings by 50%?
Communication.
Public speaking.
So whenever Curt was mentioning the Arizona State guy, he mentioned the picture, breaking it. Is there a bit of theater? Is there a bit of like drama and acting that comes into delivering effectively?
Yes, there is. And actually, I've actually seen some criticism of some of the Toastmasters now because they've gotten too much acting in it.
Yes.
If you go out to YouTube and you can see the 2018 world champ, just Google her. I mean, not Google her, but
can I see that?
Sure.
I want to rip it up.
Ramona
no,
Smith.
Oh man,
I'm kidding.
He said, "Give me that back."
But you will see different. There was one that won a couple years ago where the guy came out and he had underwear on his pants.
And that was part of his thing.
Yeah, he was from Japan or China that actually won. But there are some, they're kind of a different skill, but certainly being able to make the crowd feel something is the key. Now, how do you do that? It's different for every individual person. and your ability to move those people.
You know, and it's not just your voice and how you use your voice. It's the actions. It's pounding. Have you ever seen that meme? It's like pound on the desk, and then people are going to know that you're being serious. And
let me give you a great experience that I had in Japan. I went to a Toastmasters meeting. I remember that I said the Japanese and English. Mm-hmm. Well, it happened to be Japanese week. Well, now I only know 2 words of Japanese, and to be honest, I didn't hear either one of them in those speeches. But I was able to pick first, second, and third, even though I didn't understand one word. It just really hammered home that it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Being moved. Because you still could feel emotion by the delivery.
Exactly.
I remember studying in college communication. I think it's Aristotle's, if I remember correctly, like argumentation segments, and it's three key words. It's pathos, ethos, and logos. So pathos are your emotions, or they're pathetic. Logos is your logic behind it, so your sources that back up what you're saying. And pathos, logos, and ethos is the ethics. That how do you walk in? Are you dressed? Like, obviously, if you dress a certain way, people are going to look at you a different way. How do you handle yourself in grace? So, like, whenever we would win awards, and now I'm okay with it because I like bragging about our awards, but it was one clap. You got one clap, and then you sat down. You know, like, it was thank you, and it was gracious. It wasn't like, I won, yeah. Let's go. Because you wanted to be humble in those moments. And so those are the 3 key things that every communicator needs in order to be successful. And that's what I teach the first thing I teach my kids is, how do you behave? How do you use your emotions? You know, if it's a scene that's very powerful and emotional, if you cry, it's okay. Like, you're showing that pathetic appeal to it.
You know, when I was judging at the Texas City High School debate tournament, I told each of the kids about the Optimist Oratory Contest, which I also want to talk about. And there was one young lady that every kid, and I probably had 100, 150 kids that I talked to during those 2 days. But there was one young lady from Friendswood that she actually looked up and showed up for an Optimist Oratory Contest in Dickinson. And she won the local contest. Then I saw her at the area contest. And when she was telling her speech, her voice kind of cracked. She won. And then she went to the district level, and that's talking about the South Texas district. And she won there. And she won a $2,500 scholarship.
Wow. And
then we sent her to St. Louis to compete for a $20,000 scholarship.
What was her speech on? Do you remember?
It's in Optimists, the oratory contest, there's always a title that every kid has to use. But even though it's the same title, you never hear the same speech. And actually, it was the Optimist Club and the Optimist Oratory Club that led me to Toastmasters, because I went to the Galveston Optimist Club contest, and I saw some of these kids. There's a man, have y'all heard of Michael Merritt?
I know Colleen Merritt.
They're not related. Okay. I don't think. Mr. Merritt graduated from Ball High School the same year I did. Well, I didn't graduate from Ball, but he graduated in 1972. Went to college, came back, and has taught speech and debate for 40 years at Ball High School. But he prepares those kids for the speech and debate contest, and they come to the oratory contest. And he's had some $2,500 winners also. But it's just amazing how good some of these kids are. And at the time, when I saw them speaking, and what happened was that the Coastal Island Toastmasters were the judges, and Anaco Toastmasters were the judges for the Optimist Oratory Contest. And that's when I literally went down and joined the next week. I joined Toastmasters.
Wow. Whenever you're judging high school kids, what are you looking for? What are the criteria?
There's several different contests, and there's the impromptu, and there's poetry, and they give you a list of things. I don't remember right off the top of my head to evaluate them on. Poise, voice, those same kinds of things that you would see in a play contest kind of a thing.
Okay.
How well did they perform? Did they have uhs and ums? Did they hesitate? Did they get lost? we've all had that situation where you're speaking and you can't find the word.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But that thing at Texas City High School was mind-boggling. I encourage everybody to go over there and help Victoria Graves.
My favorite category, and I did this in college. We didn't have the option in high school, but in college it was called impromptu speaking, and so you had 7 minutes, and that was it. And you would sit down, and they would have like a quotation, and you had a note. You had a note card, and you had 7 minutes. So the goal was you would take a minute 30 prep, and then you would talk for about 5.5 minutes, right? So you had a format. Obviously, you would practice it, but you would have 2 points, and then you would use certain things. My favorite one that I ever got, somebody was talking about like how time kind of repeats itself. And so I had practiced it before, but I actually did it in competition where I used Groundhog Day as the opener, and I said, imagine waking up in a world and you hear this song come on the radio, and that song plays, and then you start living your entire day. And then I started every point the same way, and it was kind of cool. It was kind of fun, and the judges were laughing, and you got to talk about some really cool stuff, and how, like, breaking down the norms of our society, because speech and debate and voice, right? Your voice should be used to either make change or, challenge the norms that or increase awareness about something.
Absolutely.
And I feel like that's the importance of utilizing speech. And
I think that's one reason that the Optimist has had this oratory contest going on for over 75 years now. One of the winners back in the day was Dan Rather. Remember the CBS News guy? Mm-hmm. And I've talked to several people. There's a professor of communication at Texas A&M Galveston. He won an Optimist oratory contest up in Conroe in that area.
Texas A&M Galveston has a communications department?
Yes.
Awesome.
I was just going to say, I think that Optimist oratory competition goes to the interstate oratory competition that I competed at the national level. I believe because it's an interstate oratory competition, and I remember talking to somebody who won an Optimist oratory competition.
I don't think it was. Now he may have won and went to your thing, but I don't. This national or the international competition, normally it stopped at the district. It's only been in the last 2 or 3 years that we started going to St. Louis and having that international competition with there's a $20,000, a $15,000, and a $10,000 scholarship.
That's awesome.
That is cool. That's a lot of money. You
can get pretty good scholarships from doing speech and debate. If you're a kid who's listening, or I had a $10,000 a year scholarship just to be on the team. Like that was my only requirement, was to be on the team. And that was.
And believe it or not, College of the Mainland. I don't know if they're still doing it as much now, but they were ranked in the top 10 in debate a few years ago. I don't know if they've continued that, but they do have
our former intern was rated in the top 25 nationally in debate by going to College of the Mainland. Yeah. His sister.
She's in Poland right now doing some summer class. She's going to the medical field, so it's really cool to see the different routes you can take by having that speech and public speaking background. The first thing I think of is maybe becoming a lawyer or working like in the law firm industry or whatever. It would be good to be able to get your point across, be convincing, and still be accurate.
That law firm, they actually sent their lawyers to Toastmasters for that very reason.
Mm-hmm. So what are we looking at right now?
I brought some brochures that I had about Toastmasters. One of the best ones you might want to look at is the benefits of Toastmasters.
Okay. What are the benefits? Let's go through that one more time for people who are just tuning in. We're 99.5 FM KHEA radio. This is Kickstart, and we're on every morning from 8:30 to 11. We love focusing on community. We love focusing on local people who are doing good in our community, and one of those is Toastmasters. So what is the benefit of Toastmasters?
Oh, my goodness. I don't even know where to start. I would say the ultimate thing is your self-development, because there was a lady that said this: if you get everything that you can get out of Toastmasters, you'll never get out of Toastmasters. because there's always more to get. And it may be like, for me, my goal now is to get more Toastmasters and to get kids involved in Toastmasters, to teach those youth leadership programs, to find other Toastmasters to lead those. Because in our community, and I've only been here 12 years, but one of the things that I've seen as a real issue is communication skills. That this breakdown in communication, whether it be between the school board and the city, the citizens and the citizens and school board, it's just been it's an issue. And that's what is so great about Toastmasters. It's about not only speaking, but listening. Lance Miller, he is the 2005 world champion of Toastmasters. And he said this, and I completely agree with it. As I said, there was about 375,000 Toastmasters in the world. He said if we could get 1 million Toastmasters in the United States, that we could change the political climate, because it is so much about listening. You know, you've got the left and the right, and we don't communicate.
Yeah. So
that's what you can, that is the greatest benefit from Toastmasters. But I've just seen people who, there was a lady who when she came to me and we were forming the club, she said, and I'm not going to name her name, but she's somebody local. She told me, she said, I've really been looking for something like this. I know there's been situations where I interviewed for a job and I did not do great in the interview, but I know I was qualified for the job. And now, and she was afraid to, she had glossophobia. And she literally called me up a few months later. She'd been in Toastmasters about a year, I guess. And she said, you know, I spoke today for 45 minutes doing public speaking. I'm starting to enjoy public speaking. And I've just seen that so many times. And then I also have the people who say, well, at work, I speak all the time. Well, my response to that is pro basketball players still practice, don't they? Golfers still practice. They have a coach. And that's what a Toastmasters Club is for you, is a coach, because every one of those people wants to help you get better.
What are the requirements to be able to join?
It's basically 18, and then you show up and pay $20 and a little bit of dues, and you're a member.
So you don't have to any like special training, education.
We provide you everything for that.
How many members do you guys have in this area?
In this area, now I'm going to start off with the Mainland Club. We just recently got our 20th member, so we're at 20. The club at Coastal Island is about 8. The Anaco Articulators, which meets at Anaco, the insurance company, they have 29. Most clubs are 15 to 20. There's one at the League City Chamber of Commerce, the Regional Chamber of Commerce, that it's about 20.
Mm-hmm.
Do y'all know Doreen Hughes?
Not yet. Don't think so.
You don't know Doreen?
I don't think. Dude, does that name sound familiar? That's a pretty
she's
cool name. I think I would.
She's a mover and shaker. You need to go meet her.
Okay.
She also has a radio show on Wednesday mornings.
Cool.
But she's very active in the community and both Chamber of Commerces. But like I say, she started a Toastmaster. Now there are some open clubs that are open to the public, and there's some closed clubs. Typically, a closed club, you have to be an employee to be a member, or like the League City Club, you have to be a member of the Chamber of Commerce. You're the company you work for.
Mm-hmm. Kurt,
I didn't know there were other radio stations. That kind of blew my mind a little bit. just throwing that out there.
We never get to listen.
Where are you from, Kurt?
What?
Where are you from?
Nebraska.
Oh, okay.
Are there other radio stations in Nebraska?
Nope. The only radio station I know is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM, broadcasting live from 601 Delaney Road in Lamarck, Texas.
And you can listen from Nebraska on the KHEA Radio app. All you got to do is search KHEA in the Google Play Store or the App Store.
I know I got you at least one more listener because my boss is listening. So.
All right.
Who's your boss? You want to give a shout out?
His name is Rob Hernandez.
What's up, Rob?
And he's with Annixter. This is the company I work for.
What is that?
It is we're a distributor, and my particular division, we sell to utility companies. We sell the poles and the wire and the transformers.
Awesome.
I'm a programmer, and I've worked at home for about 15 years now.
I used to work for AT&T as a technician, so I was climbing the poles and messing with the wires.
You know, it's funny because we don't really sell to AT&T. Now, we sell poles to We don't sell them anymore, but Centerpoint, mostly we sell a lot to rural electric co-ops and that kind of thing. So, but when you look we're called a transmission and distribution distributor.
Yeah.
And we sell everything from the power plant up to the breaker.
Hey, I see Chris Lane. He had tuned in, from Lamarck, and his dad Cleveland and my dad, his name's Jerry, had worked together at AT&T right here in Texas City, Lamar, Galveston for years. So I've known Chris since we were kids playing summer league basketball together right here in Lamar.
Well, guess who is a member of Toastmasters?
Is it Chris?
Yes, it is.
Hey, you mentioned having to be 18 to join. Do y'all have any special programs for kids who are younger?
We do. We have two programs. We have one that's called the Youth Leadership Program, and it is a Toastmaster-led program for kids, and I've seen kids up to down to 6 years old participate. I thought that was a little bit young. I think about 9 or 10 is about the time to start and to introduce them before they're 15 or 16. But we will do up to 18.
Mm-hmm.
It's 8 sessions, again, Toastmaster-led. I've done a couple of those myself, and it's such a great experience.
Mm-hmm.
And in those 8 sessions, each kid's going to do at least 2 speeches. Some people will do 3 speeches. It's kind of up to you. But we will give them the basics of public speaking. And it's really about developing the self-confidence to be able to get up in front of people and speak.
Yes. What do you see?
And then we have a gavel club that is a junior Toastmaster, and that's led by the kids themselves. It's generally for kids in the 15, 16. However, there's one in Dallas that has 40 kids in it. They go from 7 years old up to 17. But the officers are the older kids, and they introduce the younger kids and teach them. I say all the time, Toastmasters is a learning by doing.
How often do y'all meet?
We meet every 2 weeks on Tuesday night at 7 p.m. at the Chamber of Commerce, Texas City Lamarck Chamber of Commerce.
So there's this event, Ramona Smith. She's the International World Champion 2018.
Correct.
She's going to be coming to our area?
Yes, she is, to Galveston, to the Rosenberg Library, the Wortham Auditorium. I have a club called Coastal Island that's an evening club. We meet at 6 p.m. We actually were meeting on Mondays, but we're changing to Thursdays.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been small. And so the district director, who I know very well, of District 56, Catherine Kest, called me and said, hey, how would you like Ramona Smith to come down to Galveston and see if we can attract a little more interest in the Coastal Island Toastmasters? I said, oh, yeah.
The answer is yes.
So we have arranged for that. And one great thing about Toastmasters, if you're speaking at a Toastmasters club, you can't get paid. So she will be doing this for free for us. So it's a pretty amazing thing.
Wow.
But she was a Houston ISD school teacher.
Oh, really? So she's from our area?
She is not. She actually grew up in Cleveland,
Okay.
Ohio, and lived in California. But for the last several years, I know at least 2 years ago, she was competing at the District 56 contest because I saw her. So I'm not sure how many years she's lived in Houston, but she does live in Houston. And now she's a paid professional speaker. That's what she does for a living.
So they bring her into colleges and
Exactly.
speaking on a range of topics.
Exactly.
So here's a question from one of our friends on Facebook. How do we join? Where do you go to join? Is there an email, phone number?
Yes. Certainly my phone number is 409-599-1376. It's my personal cell phone, but you're welcome to call it. I could also give you our VP of PR, who will. And his name is James Martin, and he owns Martin Designs, Martin 76 Designs. Let me just find him real quick.
We know James.
I'm not surprised.
Mm-hmm.
And he's, like I say, he's in Toastmasters. Took me about a year to get him to join, but he the other day he says, I'm glad you finally got me to join. His number is 832-206-1832.
Is there a website to find out more information?
Yes, if you just go to Toastmasters.org, there's everything. You can find the mainland Toastmasters. I use that Toastmasters.org to find the club in Japan and get the directions to the club, it sounded real easy till I got there, and then the streets were all in Japanese. So
Yeah.
It turned out to be a little trickier than I thought.
Yes.
It was in Yokohama, Japan.
Wow. So Toastmasters has literally taken you around the world.
Absolutely. And I've visited clubs from California to the East Coast, Utah. Whenever I travel for business some, and whenever I travel, I always go to a Toastmasters club.
That's fun. That's fun. Is there anything else you'd like to share while you're here today?
Just please come out and check us out. I mean, you can come multiple times without joining. I will say that every club has a little bit different personality. So I encourage people to visit other clubs and to find one that fits your personality, because some clubs are for younger people, some for older people. Our club has a wide variety.
Mm-hmm.
So we're very diverse. But like I say, the biggest thing is, and the one thing I really want to talk about today too is participation. You know, I feel like the U.S. is becoming a nation of watchers, and Toastmasters is a way to become a participant. You know, if you take sports, how many people watch sports but they don't play sports anymore?
Right.
We need to participate and engage, and that's what's so great. One thing so great about Toastmasters.
And you can start young.
Absolutely. And we will, the biggest thing I've had problems with about doing that is sports, is the kids are so busy with sports. It's getting them together, getting those 10 to 15, because you need about 10 to 15 kids to do it, and it's getting them together to do it.
You know, somebody just asked, what is Toastmasters? If you could deliver the speech of a lifetime in about...
I've got a 1-minute elevator speech.
Yeah, let's hear it.
It is a communication and leadership training club. It is learning by doing. You come, there's 3 parts to the meeting. There's planned speaking, there's impromptu speaking, and then there's the evaluation. The great thing about Toastmasters is every speech is evaluated by a fellow Toastmaster. So you get to learn something that you could have done better in your speech, but you also will become the evaluator very quickly. And that is where you develop your listening skills and prepares you to be a manager or supervisor.
I love it. Well, thank you for hanging out with us today. We're actually going to end the show a little bit early because we're going to go to Texas City, to the Texas City Lamarck Chamber of Commerce.
Oh,
luncheon.
That's where I'm going.
Awesome. We'll race there. It starts at 11, or the doors are, I don't know. We've never been before, but it's going to be our first time.
Doors open at 11, but I think they start at 11:30 is the meeting.
Sweet.
We got to book it.
We got to race.
We got to race. We have a meeting today at 1:30, and then at 3 o'clock, you can tune back in on our FM and also on our app, the KHEA radio app. We're going to have Riding the Wave with Angie and Kelly. They're a new show that we're starting out in the afternoons on Mondays, so make sure that you tune in and listen in to that.
And I need to mention one of my newest members of Toastmasters, and that's Mandolin Salazar.
Oh, we know
She actually introduced you to me.
Yeah.
Because I met y'all through her.
She's been on here. Actually, it was another Mandolin who I think is also a part of, but we know Mandolin Salazar as well.
Yeah.
That's a very cool name.
It is.
This
Good
has
story.
been Kickstart, KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. Be blessed. Have a good day. Coming up next is Unspoken on 99.5.
All right, guys. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Be blessed. We love you.
Bye, Facebook.